Welcome to the Cherry Picker, the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zach Cherry. With me, as always, is.
Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place. Eddie of Edward is Truth.
And today we're talking about Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, released October 21st, 1988, after a long hiatus.
That's why he's returning, right? I was just thinking about the subtitle. I never think about them, so I'm just kind of like, the return of Michael Myers, because he's returning to the franchise, but he's also returning to his old tricks, because he's been basically in a coma, is he not?
But is he in a coma, or is he like doing the thing where he's, it's like
Playing Paulson?
not actually in a coma, looking past the coma, looking at this very night.
He wanted to wait 10 years to have a niece that he could torment, because he knew Laurie was only getting older and stronger, and he didn't want to go toe to toe with her. But then he's like, a niece? 7?
Yeah.
I'll go now.
And it just, it's all he had to hear is one word, and it just, snapped him right out of that thing.
Records
Yeah.
scratch moment for
I
Michael
just feel
Myers, yes.
like Michael, what is he gonna do? What? And this is why Halloween Resurrection doesn't make any sense to me, because it's like, what is he gonna do outside of Halloween night? Like we see in the Rob Zombie, Halloween 2. Rob Zombies, that he
Yes.
sort of wanders around like a hobo all year long. But it's
Right.
I feel like Michael is probably he does this thing on Halloween night, kills a bunch of people, and then he's like, okay, I'm just gonna go back into my zone, and they can do
Hmm.
whatever they want. They can put me into a coma. They can lock me away again, and he's just good. He's good for a whole year. And
Yeah.
this is a reoccurring pattern that we see. He's perfect, because it's just he doesn't know what to do. It's too much responsibility. So he's happy to just be taken out of commission, whether that be for 10 years or a year, but he has to
Gonna
wait till
bide his
specifically.
time.
Exactly.
And they only transfer him places on Halloween Eve or on Halloween itself. They always wait for this time of year
Yeah.
to transport him from one place to
It's the
another.
it's the autumnal scenery.
You said it. Zach was getting
And
on me
it
about saying
killed my soul.
autumnal.
Autumnal.
How am I
Autumnal.
supposed how am I supposed to say it?
Well, it's not even how it's said, it's just the word itself. It's so weird.
Well, you were saying it a
Autumnal.
different way. How are you saying it? You say it
Well, how is it spelled?
Autumnal.
Autumnal.
Yeah, autumnal. That's what I say.
Autumnal. But
Yeah,
you add an autumnal.
autumnal. Oh, no, I maybe I just
Like humana humana humana.
no, maybe I just hit the N too hard, like autumnal. But I don't think I go autumnal.
Autumnal.
Pepto
Aluminium.
Bismol, aluminium and Pepto
Aluminium
Bismol.
foil.
I'll say, now take your Pepto Bismol and
And your
because it's
bottle of water.
and your bottle of water and and
Because
your alley and
because
your
we're podcasters,
yes,
investigative journalists,
investigative journalists on Halloween.
talking about the return of Michael Myers.
The return.
The
The
return.
return.
The return. What is
Okay. Yes.
the word retard is kind of making a comeback.
Is it?
It is.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, no.
Because
The-
the next
oh,
one, the retard of Michael Myers.
oh God. That's gonna be the scary movie
That'll be
version.
the next one. Yeah.
No! Oh my God. I mean, with a lot of complaints, but
Eh.
I didn't. I don't know. Okay, I haven't
No,
seen
apparently
that.
it's a whole thing. It's
People are signing.
just go on Instagram and
They're
TikTok.
signing petitions and
Yeah.
picketing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the less is said about that,
They're
the better.
quilting.
Quilting?
I don't know. How do you rally support for something. Well, I mean, like, I feel like the next one would be the retirement of Michael
The
Myers.
retirement, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Or the rejuvenation, he's just getting Botox and
Well, that's
getting,
Halloween Resurrection, like
yeah,
that
getting
mask that
freshened up and everything.
they use,
Yeah, that'd
the
be
very
nice.
contoured,
Oh,
smooth.
there is so much we
Yeah.
can say about masks with this particular installment of
Oh, it'll come
Halloween.
up.
Yes,
There's
it will.
we're gonna get real mask about it for sure. But
Mask for mask.
mask for mask.
Very grinder, very sniffies.
Niffies?
Sniffies? You don't know sniffies?
No.
It's a better version of grinder. We'll
Oh,
talk about that off pod, but
I I'm good. I'm good. Um, so I think we said in the last, well, because we did Halloween one. We're kind of like doing a marathon here.
yeah.
So we did one and two last month, and then
Hmm.
we did Urban Legends Final Cut, but then we took two
Hmm.
weeks of a hiatus, and now we're back, and
No.
we're gonna do four, five, and six this month. So, no, typically in these things, like I would ask you, and then you would ask me, like, what is your ranking so far of all of the Halloween movies
Oh,
that we've
right.
covered? And
Yeah.
we've been kind of like doing these out of sequence, but just because we're covering all of them, I think like we're gonna wait until we get to Halloween 6 to give our complete ranking,
Okay.
which would I
Sounds
guess
good
would
to
be
me.
minus the Rob Zombies because we just haven't talked about those yet. We can throw them in if we want,
Yeah,
but
I totally would. Yeah.
um but just for the record, what are your overall thoughts about this chapter? Because this is
Um,
a very popular one, it seems. Like a lot of
yeah.
a lot of folk cite this as being the best sequel. I don't know if that was like, changed with the new movies. I mean, it certainly hasn't for me, but
Yeah.
you know,
It's a whole thing. Let me just,
yeah,
okay, I'll try to break this down as tightly as possible, which
yeah,
means it'll only take 5 minutes. But,
okay, go for it.
no, because I was thinking about this as I was watching the movie, because there's plenty of opportunities to do that. But, it's not my favorite. And it's not really among my favorite. I feel like, to use a word that you bring up typically when we're comparing installments in a franchise, I found it to be, and still to this day find it to be rather mid. There are things I like about it that make me want to own it. In fact, I do. I have the, well, just do this
Oh,
now, the 4K,
nice.
y'all.
I got mine too. It's in the other room. Should I go grab it?
Yay!
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I that's the thing. So of course I own it, and of course I watch it, and like I said, there are things I like about it, but there's a continually, especially while I was doing this screening, it just kept evoking comparisons and memories of other movies for me.
Like
And
other movies within this franchise, or
well,
just
like the
it.
first Halloween came up quite a few times where I was just kind of like seeing a parallel. I went like, "Oh, I see what you did there." And then even just for some reason I kept thinking about Friday the 13th, the final chapter, that fourth installment in that franchise.
Oh.
And it just kind of uh I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. It is my cleanest answer. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not, it's inoffensive and fine. What about you?
It's easy. And
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the comments in the chat here, and a lot of people are saying, like the word vanilla is being used,
Mm,
safe,
yeah.
for sure. I think that yes, this is middle of the road. I would actually, without like revealing a ranking, I mean, I guess like this is probably right in the middle for me. It's definitely like the last of the ones that I like truly like. Everything after
Yeah.
this, like and just not everything after Halloween 4, but just like in terms of like where this ranks for me, it's the last one that I enjoy watching.
Mm,
And I think that my biggest takeaway from this, especially because I think that the Thorn trilogy, as it were, kind of gets lumped together. I think it's the weakest chapter. I know
hmm.
that's probably a very controversial statement to make because most people would say this is the best chapter and everything that comes after Halloween 4 is garbage. could not disagree with that more.
Same.
I think that this is it because it's not dull. I don't find it boring, but it's doing so little. And that's
Mm,
probably the thing is it's like this was the absolute right Halloween movie to come out at the time.
mm,
Because you couldn't release like especially after not having Michael Myers for 7 years at that point,
yeah.
and not like it wasn't really an established franchise like Freddy and Jason were. You had Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which like made matters even worse for it.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like their one shot to do this, and I know that there was a lot of different scripts that they worked through. Like John Carpenter at a point was actually attached to the movie
Mm.
to develop it, and it never came to fruition. And they Michael Myers was like supernatural at one point, not just like the question of like might he be supernatural, like he was legitimately supernatural. And there's this whole
Wow.
climax where he grows into a giant at the end of the movie. Yeah, you can look it up, but it's I think that Mustafa Akkad,
Yes.
smartly knew that it's just like we have to go back to the basics with this. It's just got to be very simple and safe and vanilla, as the comments had stated already. And I think it worked. And then because of that, we got the craziness that ensued after that. But it's like if they came back with, like laboratories and like thorn curses right out of the gate, like it would have been a dead franchise. It wouldn't have gone anywhere. So even though I love this crazy shit that's happening after Halloween 4,
Hmm.
I respect this movie.
Yeah.
I don't find it all that, engaging, but I respect it.
That's an interesting point also, that it is kind of like a vital step to what's to come. And because you and I both enjoy what's to come in the next couple movies,
Yeah.
you're right. It couldn't have opened up with like where we end up, where we land, or even where if Halloween 5 had somehow, or even just like the vibe of Halloween 5 had been the next step, then this franchise might have been, dead in the water. Just in terms of like what expectations were, but because it was the return of Michael Myers, and because it very on a very basic fundamental level just kind of served up that, I can't even say formula, but maybe just that framework. I think that's a big part of like what audiences responded to at the time. Certainly people were just, Daniel Harris has gone on record to talk about like sitting in audiences, experiencing this film after its release, and just the lauding from the audience members of as they embraced getting their, it's weird to say hero, but their villain, their anti-hero, Michael Myers, they're heavy back, on the big screen, because I'm wondering if people thought it was ever going to happen after Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, or if that had killed any chance for any advancement of the franchise,
Well,
named Halloween at
I mean,
all.
look at franchises today. I mean, you could even look at the Halloween franchise,
Hmm.
the hiatus between Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and 2018 was 9 years.
Yeah,
I certainly didn't think that there was going to be any new Halloween movies at that time, and I certainly didn't think that Jamie Lee Curtis would be coming back to them.
right.
But even like your favorite, the James Bond franchise, it's just like it's marked by all of these long hiatuses, and you think like, is that it? Is it
Mm.
over? Um, so I imagine that probably at that time that people were just not thinking that it was a thing. I mean, there clearly was a market for it,
Hmm. Yeah.
but um, and it certainly was aided by Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
So it would have been interesting. I mean, I was born in 1985, so I was not like cognizant of what was going on with these franchises
Oh yeah.
at that point. But I was there.
Yeah.
Um, I just so we're not like neglecting the comments, Amethyst
Yes.
Frost. At least they subverted the Carrie ending with Loomis saying, "If they survive this night, they can survive the memory of it." Instead of, "Well, they'll forget all about it. They're young."
You know, they're young enough that
Yeah.
they will live past this and eventually
Yeah.
forget all about the darkness. The evil will be gone. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's even like in Halloween 2, he had that line where he's like, "Don't feel sorry for me, feel sorry for that town back there. It'll be years before they forget this." And it's what's
right.
interesting is that like already in this movie, like Brady has no fucking idea who Michael Myers is, and it's that's actually one of the funnier moments. I don't think that this is a good script, by the way. I'm sorry. Um, and I have gripes. I like I think it's a for what it is. It's just like it's very simple, but
Okay.
the that exchange of dialogue where it's just like what's going on? It's just like it's Michael Myers. Like who's Michael Myers? It's just, like there's a lot of like exposition and it's just like Jamie's uncle. Um and he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go. I gotta go upstairs and do shit."
He's just got to do that wacky uncle thing. But you want to
Mhm.
do some housekeeping before we
I forgot all about the
dive
housekeeping.
in?
It's been,
Let's.
I mean, it's we've been away for a little bit, so you'll have to bear with
Yeah.
me. We can get into that in a minute while I prepare.
Okay.
But
He's still on Italian time, so.
I'm not. I've been back for just like a week now.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, thank you. I appreciate the grace. Um,
I can do before while you're sorting that out. I can do a premise.
I like premises, yeah.
Okay, let me do a
Yeah.
premise.
And where can the fine people watch this?
It's streaming with a subscription to AMC Plus, which is basically Shudder these days, and in addition to other things that AMC produces. Or there's, I mean, God, the numerous releases. I mean, we both alluded to the 4K. There's a Blu-ray that Scream Factory put out prior to that, and numerous DVD releases. I still want to get my hands on the OG DVD release because allegedly there is a commentary with Ellie Cornell and Danielle Harris that was recorded even earlier than the one that's going on to all the Scream Factory releases
Oh.
now. That was a subsequent one. Apparently, the memories were fresher in their heads when they recorded that one, so they tell different stories and go even
I
more
do
elaborately into the.
recall.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember there being two. And it's just
yeah.
like, oh, this one is like years ago. And this
Yeah,
one's
so I want to get my hands on
yeah.
that because I don't
And
think I have that one on my
and
4K.
that was already like 20 years ago.
Yeah, something like
Um,
that.
no, I remember well, this was like back in like the American Idol days because I remember
Oh,
um Ellie Cornell was talking about like, yeah, we met Carrie Underwood and she's like, "Oh, you're in Halloween 4."
oh,
No, she said
okay,
this on one of the commentaries. So when the hell was like American Idol and Carrie Underwood? That was like what, 20 years ago? 15,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't keep track, but sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Um, excuse me. So also, yeah, we'll just do a premise, and I'll just shall I attempt a Loomis now that he's kind of losing his grip a little.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure. Yeah.
it's not going to be good, so don't
No.
expect that. It's just going to be fun. All right.
Yeah.
10 years after his infamous massacre, a catatonic Michael Myers reawakens on October 30th and returns to Haddonfield in search of his 7-year-old niece, Jamie Lloyd. But can the best efforts of her adoptive sister, Rachel, and Dr. Loomis prevent Michael from showing this haunted little girl what is Halloween for? See what I did? So what
What is
is?
Halloween for?
Yeah. See, I knew you'd appreciate that.
Very much. Yeah. Um, All right, so just if you're new to the Cherry Picker, if you've been here for a while, we appreciate you being here and we appreciate you stopping in. But if you'd like to
Yeah.
give back a little bit more to the podcast, you can head over to my Patreon account at patreon.com/ Zach Cherry, ZACKCHERRY. And if you are enrolled at the Freddy Krueger tier, you can join us as we do these live stream recordings every Monday night. And also, every month, once a month, we do the Patreon's choice. So you get to nominate and
Hmm.
vote upon what you want us to talk about for the last episode of the month, which is really exciting. So I've already opened the nominations for October. So everyone who's already here, get on over there and make sure that you are nominating. And if you want to nominate something, and you're not supporting us, head on over. And it's just, it's the same thing as like, like Netflix or Prime or Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, like all those things. It's a streaming service. You've been watching slash listening to 158 episodes of this craziness.
Ooh, it's a
Uh,
pittance. A
so it's
pittance,
a
I say,
pittance, a
to be
pittance.
a part of a community. And
Yes. I'll take me wages if you please.
yes, my wages, if
Yes.
you please.
The top tier Patreons
Yeah.
who are very generous in supporting me. I will now read their names. So, for the Michael Myers tier, we've got Kyle Beard, Sam Levy, Ellie Hamouche, Shane Allingham, Tim McKay. Tim is actually going to be guesting later this month because somebody's busy that
Special
night.
ghost.
Yeah,
He's going to be a special ghost.
a special ghost. We got Horror Slut 95, Traj 125, Austin Hall, Cara Day or Cara Day.
Oh,
Cara
tell us.
Day.
Which
Cara
one is it?
Day.
Which one is it? Cara Day.
Well, Cara's here right now. Or
Yeah, tell us,
Kara.
Kara.
Yeah, let
Kara,
us know.
Kara. Are you Supergirl or are you Kara?
Michael Boswell. DEFCON. And then for Ghost Faces, thank you to Eric Champney, Daniel Saturn, Stephanie Starbright, Baby Ghoul, aka Tamika, Garrison Nichols, Craig Lynn, and Josh Burrows, a new Ghostface supporter. Josh is the
Yay!
executive producer on my film Macabre with Eric. And
Yay!
we just got back from Italy, where we were at a film
Yes.
festival. So wanted to shout that out. All
Yes.
right, getting back to the meat of the matter
The
here.
movie.
Yes. So I completely lost my train of thought of where we were at in this Halloween 4
You're still getting
conversation.
limber. Still getting
I
limber.
will say that the thing that like it doesn't take me out of it, but like why I don't consider this one to be higher caliber because this feels like a TV movie in
Yeah.
a way. I think that production quality wise, we came from the first three films where everything was like the anamorphic widescreen. I don't know the
Mm-hmm.
exact ratios, but
235:1 aspect
thank you,
ratio, yes.
Preesh. With Dean Cundy and like, just like the whole crew
Yeah.
that just like made those films just like look so
Mm-hmm.
all-encompassing
Mm-hmm.
and very cinematic. And now here we are, we're like in the boxy, like closed in. I mean, I know it's like wider screen for like these DVD and Blu-ray releases, but it feels like like a lot of the shots are very close up to things. Like we're not getting a lot of wides. Like they're very few
Yeah.
and far between. It feels like the world of Halloween 4 is very small, especially
Yes.
the world of
Yes.
Haddonfield. And it's like, like I guess there could be an argument for that. It's like small town or whatever, but I don't like it. I prefer
No.
like what we had previous. So, when I watch this movie, I feel like I'm watching the TV version, like the made for TV. Like we talk about how Halloween 1 and 2 have their TV versions of them. I
Oh
feel like
yeah.
this is a TV version of
But it's also the
of it.
theatrical release.
Yes, yes. But yeah, there's something very like cable movie
Hmm.
about it. Which I mean,
TV movies at the time looked very much the way this is
yeah.
shot. Yes.
Which I mean, it has its charm. Like
Yeah.
there's, we've talked about like actually this was an argument that we had during Psycho 2 because you said it felt like a TV movie and I pushed back on that. But more to that, there's movies that have that quality. I would say like Hand That Rocks the Cradle
Hmm.
is one that feels kind of TV movie-ish, but I really love that. So
Right.
yeah, it's not a strike against it, but I feel like in terms of like what this franchise has been and what it, can be, it
Hmm.
was a bit of a disappointment. And I looked at the numbers. So the original Halloween, I think was like $300,000 budget.
Mm.
Um, this one had a $5 million budget. So this was the highest budget
Oh my
at the
God.
time. And it's just like you can't see it in comparison to what had been done before.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where I can see the effort. I mean, I love that you brought up the size of the film in
Yeah.
terms of scope and feel, because it's one of the first things that occurs to me every time I return to it. And one of the things that evoked a memory of, we discussed this already when we covered Friday the 13th, the final chapter, the fourth film in that franchise. I I love when Josie Doe, the director,
Josie,
addresses basically kind of like the aftermath of the third film, like, we're the night of that
yeah.
morning where we left the third film, and it all begins on a helicopter and just kind of like tapers down to just kind
Mhm.
of like mow us through, remember this, remember that, but it does it in a way that only expands the feel of it, like something very real feels like it happened in that space. And then I'm watching Halloween 4 today, and I'm watching that ambulance pull up in front of that giant, because that's another thing, it looks like a house, or like almost like a stately governmental institutional house that
Mm.
you get to live in when you're the governor, or something like
Yeah.
that. So already I'm kind of like, oh, that's the exterior that's supposed to match like the back when they're on the loading dock and they're running him down the ramp. I can't finish the image in my head and connect the two structures. And maybe that's just, again, that's just me. This is the thing. I'm not necessarily blaming the movie for it. I think it's just sometimes when a filmmaker has a particular style and sees things, and I've said this before, the inclination to move the camera in a particular
Mhm.
direction and focus on a particular reaction, or a particular character. If it doesn't line up with where my eye wants to go, I have trouble with the film, just digesting it,
Yeah.
because I'm like, why are we focusing on this when we could be focusing on this? And with the opening, I see that kind of house-looking structure that they're supposed to be picking up Michael Myers in to transfer him elsewhere. And I can even see the attempt as it's moving, like all the layers as they're descending deeper and deeper into hell. I can see what they're doing. Like on paper, it makes sense to me. And I've said this quite a few times, I feel, in the last
Mm.
few episodes. There's something about the execution that I find a little bit lacking. I got to watch an interview with the actor who plays the security guard, who says the line that I opened this episode with.
Yeah.
And he was told when he got the part, and on the day of shooting, they're just like, we want there to be a blurred line between the people who are in authority in this place and the people who are like the inmates. Like, we want the doctors and thusly the audience to almost feel like, is this a security guard? Or is this the guy who just killed the security guard, buried the body in the back, and is now playing security guard? And I can see the attempt. I can see, oh, that's what you were going for. I did feel a kind of little off-kilterness from him. The only thing is, it had a much less impactful or a much less of an impact on me, because what I got was just like, oh, he's been working here too long. He needs to quit. He needs to
Yeah,
transfer.
like that whole thing. I was actually reminded of a movie that came out 3 years later,
Oh.
Silence of the Lambs,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and um, where what's his face? I forget the characters. Frederick, Fred,
Yes.
yes, played by Anthony Heald, leading Jodie Foster down into the bowels of the institution, and just like kind of like
Yes.
relaying the story, like we're building up to Hannibal Lecter before we
Yeah.
are introduced to him. And I mean, in this way, and this is where I talk, and I was kind of mean when I said that this is a bad script, because it's not, but it's a very like juvenile script, and I think like this whole sequence is it's very expositiony, and I can forgive it because it's like this is the movie. We're returning to Michael Myers. We're,
Mm-hmm.
just in case people forgot, this is who he is. And this guy's entire dialogue is like, "Yes, sir, Bob. That was quite a night. Can you believe it? He killed this many people, but he was stopped by his own doctor of all people." And like just like and it's like this is a conversation that like he has not been prompted to have.
Mm-hmm.
They're not engaging with him. They're just sort of like look like why is he talking? It doesn't work. It feels very forced. It feels kind of silly.
It's an
Where
exposition dump.
yeah,
Yeah.
whereas like I look at something like in Silence of the Lambs, and like Zach like comparing Silence of the Lambs, Oscar winning Silence of the Lambs to Halloween 4. But I mean like it works there because we're there's so many layers to the scene that's happening.
Yeah.
And even though this predates that, it's just like there's a way to do it. And I think that one thing that we've neglected to mention, because this is not where the movie starts. The movie actually starts quite wondrously
Oh,
with
right, right, right.
this very atmospheric montage of just like this farmland and just like these like decorations and just sort of like creepy imagery of like very autumnal,
Yes, it
as the
is.
sun is setting. And I feel like I would have rather been here. I would have rather like stayed
Oh.
with that, because we don't really get any of that in the rest of the film. It just sort of like it's just there at the
Yeah.
beginning. So it's like this is like the hook into the movie, and it's advertising something else, and then it's just not that at all.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because my first note is literally interesting to pick such a rural area to open the flick. We never come back here in this movie, do we? And then I just wrote a note for myself to kind of keep an eye out for, at least in terms of vibes. Like maybe we kind of get more of a rural feel with the angry villagers of it all when the vigilante justice mob is, shooting innocent bystanders and everything in the park. But again,
Yeah.
that's in the park. That's still, even though
The
they're,
park, yeah.
yeah, even though they're probably kind of like the most kind of like rural feeling characters in it, even the stuff that lands out in the boonies out in
Mhm.
the least civilized kind of like terrain,
Yeah.
it doesn't match up with the opening credits. It's got much more of like a forest woodsy feel with these really vertical trees that are green because they shot this in
Mhm.
the spring.
Mhm.
And so yeah, you're
In
right.
Utah.
And I saw Dwight Little, the director, discuss how he had also done a lot of his own research about Halloween and Samhain and how like
Samhain.
what it really means and how he was motivated to open with that sequence to kind of evoke not just I guess not memories but I guess just imagery and a response from his audience that wasn't just to the Halloween franchise, but to just Halloween as an idea, as a
Yeah.
practice, as something that we return to. And I think he was successful in that. The problem is, it's like you can't set up your movie with that and then not pay it off. Is my argument. So
Yeah.
I agree with you as far as that.
Kara, by the way, that's pronounced Kara.
Yay! Now
Thank
we
you.
know.
We go back to it at the party at Tower Farm, in five. And I was thinking just that before she wrote that because I was just like, oh, is
Yeah.
that the Tower Farm? This is the introduction to the Tower Farm.
Right. I mean, it
Um,
feels much more adjacent to that than it
and
does
that's
to
why
anything.
I
It's so
love, I mean,
suburban.
spoiler alerts, that's why I love
Well,
Halloween 5 more than this.
I think
Yeah.
people know already that like
Yeah.
there's an upswing for us after this film.
Yeah.
But
No, but it feels like we step out of this atmosphere and then yeah, we're in this like it's almost like a remake of the original. And I feel like in terms of like any of the Halloween movies, this one feels like it's doing the most in step with the original.
yeah.
Whereas like this is such a colorful franchise,
Hmm.
where every sequel feels like it's doing something different, except for this movie. It's
Mm,
just like visually, thematically, it's just one over. It's just
mm,
like a cheaper version of it. So I see like the driving up and the storm is like the same as the first movie.
hmm.
And it's funny because you mentioned this like facade of this institution
Yeah.
because we don't really see anything in the original Halloween. We just see the gate. But it like the feeling that you get is that it's there, that
Mm,
this like imposing sanitarium is on the other side of that.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like
Well,
there,
because
there
even
there's sorry, I just while we're
go
still at
go
this
for it.
part, I wanted to
Yeah.
mention because you were talking about like the execution of things, and I feel like one thing that I actually noticed a lot, especially watching this today,
Yeah.
was like the blocking is not great. There's a
Mm,
lot of instances. I think maybe one of like the the best examples is the infamous mask moment later on of just sort
mm,
of like where are they in this schoolhouse in relation to everything else? But there's a scene earlier on when Loomis is first introduced and he walks into this guy's office,
mm.
uh, Hoffman, and the
Yeah.
way that he like walks in, we just cut to this shot and it's like he's sitting sideways and
Mm,
it's like he's profile and Loomis is suddenly over here and it's just like I this it's so it, it's distracting because it's just like it's
mm.
taking me out of it at a certain point because it's like I'm more focused on where people are in relation to each other than what is actually being said.
Which is very
Um,
talking head television.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and just the fact that everything is so like tightly on all of uh the subjects, but
Hmm.
there's a nurse in the beginning of the movie, and it's like the camera, this goes back to what you were saying, the camera makes a point to like linger on her because she sort of like introduces these paramedics that like the
Yeah.
ambulance attendants to Dr. Hoffman,
Hmm.
and she sort of like she has this weird like she's like oh yeah like it's like she hates her job. I wonder if there was more to her character or there was like another beat that we missed, but it's just like it lingers on her and then we
Yeah.
stay with her as she like walks out of the room. So I wonder like why are we showing these things rather than other things, you know?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was more because I love that you brought up Silence of the Lambs because that's another thing that actually Dwight Little discussed is that they shot to kind of contribute to the descent toward,
Mhm.
this figure in hell, as it were, with Michael Myers. There was a section where they were walking past kind of one, I don't know if it's a cell or room or whatever it is that wherever it is that they station these people, where they have murderers and, people with, who are basically like a danger to other people and themselves or whatever, and they cut it out because it broke the momentum as far as Dwight Little was concerned. And it's funny that again here and then you talk about Jonathan Demme like fully immersing us in the world, showing us like look at all these people who occupy the same space as Hannibal Lecter, just to really put you in Clarice's shoes and just put you, let you know you're going to a place that is condemned, that you don't want to be, that no person should want to be. And even though there's a security guard in Halloween 4 who was telling us, Jesus got nothing to do with this place, I want to feel it. Like you say, show don't tell. I mean, it's everybody says it. It's a very common filmmaking term. But yeah, and I don't always agree. But in this instance, I'm totally on board with it because I'm just not feeling it. I'm getting it. I'm getting that you're telling me all the things about like what I'm supposed to be getting from this atmosphere. But you could just establish it, and I could just react because that's another thing you're making me realize. I love when you kind of allude to things and build up a better movie for me in my head. And I'm like, oh shit, I wish that, because you brought up, again, to go back to the opening sequence and all those rural images and everything like that. It just kind of like the sun as it's going down and just like the dryness of the foliage, you know, like the around the crops and whatnot. Just the way it seems to be kind of like desolate and even though there are Halloween decorations up, they're not really, you know, decorative. They're more just kind of looming, you know, dark things. And yet there's nothing about that movie. What would have been interesting, and this actually could have piggybacked off of just like a genuine vibe from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch that I think they did really well, which is because it takes place in a more suburban atmosphere, show people putting up their cute, friendly, cushy, because in the 80s, that's what, you know, Halloween was, at least to me. I was a kid. And I just remember the big, round, colorful, you know, enjoyable decorations and the handmade ones that kids would make at school and then they'd put them on their front door and stuff like that as you trick or treat. It was something to kind of, even though there was a little danger in the air, it was something to you know to enjoy and to have fun with, and I think that could create like a tremendous contrast with what's on the horizon, as it were. Or make a movie with Michael Myers. Can you imagine like him just out in like a dry cornfield, him, you know, terrorizing a family that's isolated in a farmhouse from anyone else, and or even just going to a party where kids are
So you
like
want
in
the
five.
strangers?
But with Michael Myers, that's really who they are. I mean, at
Yeah.
their strongest, I'd say, like, I mean, because I like the first movie better than you do, but I'd argue they evoke a similar
What would
thing.
Michael, because you were home, what would his
Well, he wouldn't say anything. He'd just stand there and
well,
breathe.
obviously, but like if he could talk, and he
If he
can, he
could
just
talk.
chooses not to.
Hmm. Why are you doing this, Michael?
What
I don't think he knows why he's
was
He'd be like,
that?
I don't know. He'd say, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, I mean, that was the whole thing in like
There's
in
no
Halloween
reason.
1. It's like because she walked up to his doorstep,
Sure.
but no, that's all fair. All right, well, should we move along to the
Yeah,
next
sure.
scene?
Otherwise, we're just gonna
Yeah.
keep talking about the opening.
Yeah, because I think I do like the introduction of Jamie. I like this whole bit in the movie. And you know, like some of it is a little silly, but I love the, you know, I actually think that it's effective that you know, we have this like horrific thumb death in the ambulance, which I think is actually like you know, some of the like I think most of the kills in the movie are kind of weak because a
Hmm.
lot of them are off screen and whatnot. But I like the thumb. I think that
Yeah.
might have been a Mustafa added after the fact.
That they had John Carl Buechler work on, the same
Yeah,
director of Friday 7. Yeah, I love
very
him.
good, very good.
Yeah.
He also did design the mask, Michael's mask in 6, I believe.
Yes. Yes.
Um, yeah, but we have that whole thing, and then suddenly there's an ambulance parked outside of like this house, and it's raining, and it just like that misdirection,
Hmm.
and just sort of like, and it does kind of harken back to the original
Yes.
because it's like, you know, Jamie's watching out the window, and the ambulance is there, and then she looks again, and it's gone, very much like
Hmm.
Laurie seeing the shape outside of the
Hmm.
school or outside of her window.
I wondered because as I was watching it, I was like, because it's there and because it's gone and because we didn't hear anything.
Hmm.
And because she's close enough. Like it's not like, you know, an atmosphere where you're like in a classroom and there's a teacher talking and it's across the street, so and it's daylight, so you're not going to hear everything. You're not going to have as keen an ear. Because this is happening at night, and I guess the only thing that's really happening is that there's a thunderstorm. It made me wonder, is that ambulance actually there or is he still on his way and it's just one of the first, it's like the first apparition for Jamie of like what's to come. Like she's not just because she is hallucinating or like being visited by apparitions of Michael Myers after that. So
Well, I
I don't
think
know. I
that
wonder.
like the way that I've always interpreted it is, I mean, she is dreaming
Mhm.
I mean, is she? Like, did that exchange with Rachel actually happen? We'll get to that in a second. But like I think that it's an early establishment of this psychic link between them.
Yeah,
And you could
yeah.
argue that like no, that was something that they invented for the fifth movie, but no, because it was played in out in the end of the film. So I feel like it was they were planting the seed. So in that regard, let me actually give the flowers to the script here because
Yeah.
that's quite clever. I think that was a good inclusion. It was building up to the twist ending.
Well, and also there's so many questions I have. Like there's a mystery around like Lori and her husband's I guess or at least Jamie's father, as far as we know, around their
Jimmy.
death. Jimmy, is that his name?
I'm
And
assuming
that
it
it's
was
Jimmy
Jimmy.
from two.
We made it.
She didn't meet anybody else in 10
Yeah.
years, but well, 9 years because
Well,
she's
no,
been
but
dead
well,
for the
she
last one.
had,
But
Jamie is like what, 7 or 8 years old at this point. It's
was Jimmy?
confusing because some
Yeah.
sources say 7, others say 8. But
Was Jimmy's last name Lloyd? Did we
he didn't
ever?
have a last name. But I think a lot of people
Okay.
have retroactively just decided that Jimmy is Jamie's biological
Well,
father.
I mean, Scream 7, there's a whole other husband for
Mark,
Sydney.
yeah, a whole other
Come-
Patrick Dempsey, yeah.
No, he no love for Patrick Dempsey. It's Joel
Yeah.
McHale now, folks. But
Mhm.
anyway, so who knows as far as like who the father is? But because there's a photo, but it is so, it's just dark and she's looking at it in the dark and we don't really get a
Mhm.
close up of it. It's just a shot to establish she's on the shoulders of some man who is
Yeah.
presumably her father, who
Well, I
is
can
also
tell you who it
deceased.
ain't.
Who ain't it?
Ben
Oh, Ben
Tramer.
Tramer. Not in this timeline.
No, no.
Um, but I also, I mean, because I want to also just like,
Dick Baxter. That's who. Sorry. Keep going.
I want to pile
He'll
on
go
like
out
what,
with you.
yeah, right. No, she's, oh God, that'd be terrible. Like, so I settled for your father and now we're gone. But,
How I Met Your Father. Yeah.
exactly. Oh
Yeah.
no. But but no, I agree with you in terms of just the introduction of Jamie. I love that the first image of Jamie Lloyd that we get is so kind of I guess it's not even imposing, but it's just kind of haunting and haunted because it's just this girl just looking out the window with the lightning crash over her and everything
And
like
she's
that.
crying too.
Well, because first we see the
Yeah.
back of her and it looks almost poltergeist adjacent, and
Yeah.
then we see her face, and immediately any kind of imposing threat is completely ripped away because she just looks so vulnerable. So I love that she's able to. That seemed like some mindfulness on the filmmaker's part to introduce her as just like a question mark, like is this a child that we should be afraid of? And then immediately, cut to like, oh no, she's an angel. That poor thing.
Yeah.
What's she feeling bad about? And then we watch her with one of the
It's
most
been 11 months.
I know we watch her with one of the most unsympathetic adoptive sisters in the history of cinema.
Very, very similar to Lori's adoptive mother. Like
Yeah.
I told you, I'm not your mother.
Do
Do
you
you
love
love
me
me,
like a sister? Like a
Rachel?
real sister? I'm
Yeah.
not your sister, but it doesn't mean I love you any less, okay?
Mm.
That's how I hear it. But
Yeah.
but
Do we like Rachel?
I do by the end. By the end of it, I'm
Yeah.
like, she brought it. She stood up. I wouldn't have expected all of that from her at the
Mm.
top of the movie, the way that I see Laurie Strode, and I'm just kind of like, there's something about the way she's shot and about her theme and all of that where I'm just kind of like, I like you, and I think there's more to you than you even know. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily get that with with Rachel, but I like that because that's actually new, you know?
Yeah. I've never like I don't dislike the character and
Yeah,
I like the actress, but I've just
yeah.
like I've never understood I guess like the praise for her because it just like her character throughout the whole movie is just kind of whiny and there's the infamous line what is it when she's in the car just
Oh,
like
I don't want to come on too strong. Guys hate it when a girl. No, that's not in the car. That's with her parents. What's the one in the car? Does somebody
No,
know?
that's the it's
Oh,
in the
that's the
part where she
line?
says that. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
I don't
she
want to come
says
on too
she
strong.
says
Guys
to the
hate it when girls
parents
come.
like, you don't want an oinker for a daughter. No, she
Oh
goes off to this
God.
whole like soliloquy about like now the future of my children and my husband and
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah are not going to exist because I have to babysit. Like, just fuck off.
But I again, I think that she appropriately feels immediate shame when she realizes that her little sister has just heard that and taken it on. She's just kind of like, I ruin everything, basically, and runs out of the room.
I
She's like,
think that
oh,
she was,
fuck.
oh no, Jamie was totally being passive aggressive. She knew what she was doing. She was
I
like,
love it.
I can like work an angle here where I can get free ice cream and go trick or treating tonight. I'm gonna like milk this for all it's worth. She knew what she was doing.
So
So
cynical.
good
So
for.
cynical.
No, but that's not cynicism. That's just like way to go. She's crafty. She knows what she's doing. Rachel on the we actually covered the on the old podcast when we talked about Halloween 4, and this was
Yeah.
actually one of the before the cherry
Yes.
picker question existed. It was just like, are you team Rachel or team Kelly? And
Yes.
we both said that we were team Kelly.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of that like comes down to like the whole dynamic of like this like love triangle that's happening because I don't feel bad for Rachel. I
Uh,
mean, I think that like Brady's a cad, but I
yeah.
don't feel bad. I think that Kelly's actually probably like she's just saw an opportunity and was just like, you suck at this, he sucks at this with you. I'm gonna go in there because the thing is, it's like when she goes to like this like uh drugstore wherever he works at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, like school's out, like she knew that she had to babysit all day and
Yeah.
she didn't approach him at school and tell him and it waited until now. So his frustration when he's just like, well, why are you telling me now? It's like valid. I get it. Like, like why didn't she broach this subject earlier to try to figure it
Mhm.
out? So I don't give a shit. I don't feel bad for her. And when they're in the kitchen later and Rachel is being all like, like you're a slut, whatever. That's the subtext of the
Well, because
conversation. Yeah.
because even it starts with the confrontation with
Yeah.
Kelly lying, saying like, "I didn't know that you were with Brady." Okay, and she's like, "You knew, you just didn't care." It's like, and I'm sitting here and I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, are we expecting too much of someone who doesn't seem like they're our friend? If she were like a friend of
Yeah.
Rachel's, that's one thing. But when it's just
Mhm.
a person who occupies, something in the vicinity of
Yeah.
this person who is not quite yet your boyfriend, like you've got your hooks in him for sure, and you've got your eye on him, but you're also, for Rachel, but I think the thing that I keep bumping up against is that that is very, I feel is very un Laurie Strode, is that she's kind of got this rule book that isn't even about her priorities. It's just kind of like this magazine, like this teen magazine idea of like, well, I don't want to come on too strong, and I don't want to be, an oinker, so I'd better look my best for him, but I better seem interested, but not too interested. I mean, it's like, bitch, stop playing this game and just go after what you want and see if he's into it, and if you're both down, and if you're not, you can draw a boundary and everything like that. But I think is she suffers from something that I feel like a lot of teenagers do, which that makes her not, it's not a hell-worthy trespass, but she doesn't quite know where her boundaries are, and she doesn't quite know what she wants. She just knows I've got a focal point, and that's Brady, I'm just going to hit the bullseye if I do everything right. If I just play the game and I just kind of get him, and it's like what I love about Kelly. The reason why I'm Team Kelly is because she dispenses with all of that bullshit. Not completely. I mean, she does have that line. Uh, what does she say? Oh fuck, I wrote it down.
Wise up to what men
Wise up to
want,
what
or
men
Brady won't be the
want.
first.
Wise up to what
Yeah.
men want, which is the only line I think she says that isn't about her, because she says like, I have to do what's best for me. I'm like, yes you do, bitch. And then she says, don't you mean what you do best, basically calling her a slut. And it's like, you know what, sluts get laid. You know what? This slut was about to ride your boyfriend just like an hour ago, so deal with
Not
it. But
even. Yeah.
but I love, this is the thing, I just but I also I kind of like that Kelly, is like talking about what men want as well because that's something that kind of puts them in the same boat. They're both just like girls in a small town who are just trying to kind of make it happen.
Mm.
And if they could just recognize that Brady, this is the thing about Brady, there's nothing really that special about him. He's introduced among like two other guys who kind of look exactly like him, and isn't he?
One of them is Tommy.
Yeah, that's
And
Tommy.
Lindsay's there too. Lindsay is
Yes.
Rachel's friend in the car. Um,
Yeah, love
eh,
her.
well, initially, as part of like the different scripts that almost came to fruition, Tommy and Lindsay were characters, like full-fledged characters in the movie.
Oh,
So
another
yeah,
footnotes.
it's interesting when you go back and look at the whole franchise now. How many movies Tommy has been in? Because they were in the first two. I mean, I know that the second one is just archive footage,
Uh-huh.
but then four and also six for Tommy, and
Hmm.
then the new stuff.
Which we've
Yeah,
addressed.
we've addressed. It's been said.
I love the
Um,
fact that, like, as far as Lindsay is concerned, that she's part of like creating kind of like that safe space for Jamie's rebuilding after her attack from those bullies. Because, okay, first off, what the fuck is wrong with those kids? Like, I mean, kids are sociopaths, like for the most part.
mm,
Oftentimes, unless a kid is a particularly like sensitive. Here, I'm calling them kids, like little goats. Sorry, Annie from Friday, but um, children, um, unless they're little sensitive souls that are like incredibly empathetic and kind of like penetrable emotionally, have to be taught empathy. And
mm,
so I love that on parade are these three children who are so abusive to Jamie for no apparent reason other than she's not in a costume, and they know that her she has an uncle boogeyman, and they know that her mother is dead, and everything about their taunting is just pushing that in her face and just singing it at her until she runs out of the school in tears, which
in slow
is
motion.
in
There's a
slow
lot of
motion because
slow motion shots in this movie.
well, because
It's
it's the 80s. And
yeah.
I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with it. But anyway, but I like it. I think it kind of like just the more time spent on Danielle Harris in this movie, the happier I am.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that we get to see her just kind of like go behind that tree. See, these are moments like if I'm doing laundry, I'll come in from my laundry or my dishwashing and just kind of go, oh, I want to see her recover. Because she just starts telling herself with her, she's kind of clutching her fist to her chest, just going, you're okay, you're okay. And she gets in the car. Immediately, Rachel is concerned with the well-being of her sister, and they start talking about like, other things that kind of as she starts to just kind of calm down, and then she's just kind of like, you know what? I want to go find a costume. And you know what? Can we have ice cream afterwards? Self-care. I'm all about the self-care because I'm a final girl, and I'm just like, yeah, little girl. See, that's what I like. I just like watching her get herself her needs met. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
they're shits, but you know what? Fuck them. Get your costume, go trick or treating, have ice cream. You got your girls with you. I wish Lindsay could have been along with Rachel along with the trick or treating or something. I don't know how we would justify both of them losing losing
Mhm.
Jamie and still make them sympathetic people. But
Mhm.
but I don't know. I could have used a lot. I can always use more Lindsay. If the last trilogy from David Gordon Green has shown me anything, it's that more Lindsay is always good for
Yeah.
me. Anyway,
Mhm. Um, we well, we glossed over a few bits. I don't know why I
yeah.
feel compelled to like go in chronological order all of a sudden, but I mean, there's not really much to say. I think this is we get the typical Halloween franchise dysfunctional breakfast scene,
Yeah.
which has sort of like become a staple, which we kind of addressed briefly.
Rachel's eating
Um,
disorder,
uh,
self-imposed.
these parents suck too. I do
Oh, I
not
see her
like
mother
them.
and I see a woman trying. I feel bad for her mom.
She's trying for sure. But yeah, they have no chill at all.
No.
I love the whole thing. It's just like, oh, well, can she bring her crutches? And like, oh, stupid question. Tell her I hope she feels better. Um, but we get to the introduction of Loomis, the reintroduction.
Yeah.
And this is where we get the probably like one of the few wide shots in the film when they go to the scene of the accident
Oh yes, yes.
of the bus as Loomis calls it.
The
How many people
ambulance.
on the bus?
Yes.
That line always confused me when I first saw it. I'm just like, bus? That's an ambulance.
Maybe that's why they had specifically like a bus transporting the inmates in
Yeah,
Halloween 2018. So
yeah.
they
It's
always
the short
transport them by
bus.
bus, don't they?
Yeah,
Yes. Anyway,
by carriage.
I love that the work is apparent from Loomis from the get-go, from
Yeah,
our dear actor. But
yeah.
but I also and I forget how often it's on screen, his little fried egg
The fried
latex
egg. It's
thing.
it's more so at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's on I think it's actually on screen maybe
I
three
I think
times.
especially like in the when he's driving with the Reverend,
Yeah.
it's in that scene.
And there's one instance where it's like I think it's even at at the crash site where I
Yeah.
think it's there at the top of the scene, and then he turns around and he starts talking to them from as after he's waded out of the water and standing by the shoreline, and all of a sudden it's morphed into the kind of
Yeah.
more, I don't know, crispy
He
bacon.
smoothed it out. Yeah.
Yeah, his cold cut
Yeah.
thing going on,
Um
which I prefer. I prefer that.
yeah, but this segues into probably one of my favorite moments of the film, which is the diner bit.
Mm.
Yeah, this is fun stuff. The only quibble that I have with this
You go a
section and is
quibble.
quibble, which is more relating to what I was talking about earlier, is that the world of Halloween 4 feels very small
Yeah.
because we get to this diner slash auto body shop,
Hmm.
and we're first like introduced to this mechanic, and he's clearly talking to someone,
Yeah.
and then Michael like pops out and with his bandaged uh, uh, visage,
Hmm. Hmm.
is that the word? Impales him, and uh, and Loomis arrives shortly thereafter, and like for anyone who like follows like a dead meat kill count, or even before dead meat existed, there were like things online that would say like all the people that Michael killed.
Yeah.
And it's only ever listed that there's like, because like Loomis finds the dead mechanic, and then there's the waitress in the diner who's dead.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking like these people are not running, like did she like double as like waitress and help like bring tools over to this guy? Like, because there had to be more people here. There had to
Right.
be like a short order cook. That like it's,
Yeah.
and I feel like we're
Maybe
kind
he
of
ran off.
this is like where I feel like the budget starts to show, or
Yeah.
like, not even the budget because they had $5 million, but like the lack of resources towards uh scenes like this, because it's like I feel like there should be more people there. This should feel a little bit more grim, and this beat replays again later when they go back to the sheriff's station, and there's like
Hmm.
the whole police force has been murdered, but there's like three dead cops there.
Hmm.
So just like, could they not afford the actors or the the makeup effects for dead bodies?
Oh, well, I mean, because that reveal of the waitress, I look at it and I'm just kind of like, because it just it looks like makeup, you know?
Yeah.
It looks like really, really good, like haunted house level. Like if you're wandering around like a spooky diner and you see a dead waitress like that, like they're gonna be like, oh, there's that.
Yeah.
But for a film, and also it's again, it's not on par with like the more John Carl Buechler of it with like the thumb into the face or the tearing of the throat open from the car at the
Yeah.
climactic, you know, battle at the end. So I wish the scares were a little bit more grisly and a little bit more just scary, just dark. Because they tried. Genuinely associate the resolution of this film with something very, very kind of clean and smooth, which kind of like detours from the more grainy feel, even at its crispest. Like there's still a
Yeah.
lovely grain to the first three movies, but with this one, I did notice when Donald Pleasance is walking into the garage, like they're trying to play with shadow. They're trying to establish like a dark feel, like a genuine grisly, atmosphere.
Yeah.
That just the problem is I don't think about those shots when I think about this movie. I think about again suburbia.
Yeah.
If everything were kind of like happening again out in the middle of nowhere, it might color my experience of it all a
Yeah.
little bit better. But I do. I mean, even the shot that was another one. The shot that was supposed to be an homage to Hitchcock of like the zoom out and
Yeah.
put and roll forward
Love
or
that
dolly
moment.
back and
Yeah.
zoom in, however you accomplish it. But the thing is, the figure in the frame is supposed to remain stationary while this weird kind of like eye trick is happening around them to create kind of like a disorienting, off kilter feel. And instead, all it looks like is like a zoom. Do you know what I mean? Like we push past everything in the shot and just kind of zoom up to Michael. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I found out after the fact that was supposed to be an homage to Hitchcock. And I'm like, well, it didn't work. Why didn't you?
I like that moment though.
I mean, I like it, but if
Yeah.
it's but as an homage that's supposed to like keep everything stationary, but just kind of disorient you, I just think it's more
Yeah.
like a zoom, just like a classic zoom. So even that, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
I
if
just
I,
think it's funny
yeah,
that he's like, because he's talking to him and then he starts shooting at him. And when we cut back, Michael's already gone. So it's like, did he? I feel like we missed something. Like, should we have seen Michael like starting to walk away and then he
totally,
started to shoot at him?
yeah.
But then the whole like, Michael and
Yeah,
yeah.
I, I also love the fact, yeah, that he not only does like Michael kind of disappear without Loomis noticing while he's shooting. I mean, I guess you could
Yeah.
say maybe the loudness of the gun firing disoriented him, but he even takes a step forward to kind of peer over the counter to reveal that there's no one there. But it's like you were both at the same eye level. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing to peer at.
Can you
Like
leave? You're in my eye line.
exactly.
Faye Dunaway as
Um,
Dr. Loomis.
but there is something that I really appreciate prior to that that I feel like doubles down on um, the question that Donald Pleasance asked at the end of the first movie when he said to John Carpenter, "I can do this two ways when I discover the fallen body from the balcony
Yeah.
or from the window. Either he um, either I look down and he's gone and I didn't expect it, or I look down and he's gone and I totally expected him not to be there."
Yeah.
And they went with, you totally expected him not to be there, and it works. I love that when he's talking to Dr. Hoffman before he goes off, uh, they're arguing because Dr. Hoffman's just like, he could never break away. You're crazy. You know, like he's doing all that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden the phone rings and Loomis just stops and just waits. And Dr. Hoffman gets on the phone. He's like, hello, what? Like, what are you? Oh, and and Loomis is just sitting there, just kind of pre-glaring, like knowing, I know what this call is. And the
Yeah.
second that he hears that Michael Myers has, broken free and there's been an accident, it's like, I'm out. I knew it. I knew it. And I'm just like, that's what I want from a final person is just kind of like,
Yeah.
I knew this was going to happen. I tried to warn you. Nobody ever listens to me. I'm off. So
Yeah.
yeah,
One
yeah,
thing that while we're talking about this that did kind of pull me out of it a little is at the very end of the movie when they're back at the Carruthers and
yeah,
suddenly like they open the door and Loomis comes in and he's just like he's very like satisfied with the results. He's just sort of like it's over. Michael Myers is in hell where he belongs. It's just like you don't believe that. Come on. It's
oh,
just that felt like a very disingenuous moment for the
I
character, like
agree. I
written
agree.
for him, and I'm surprised that Donald Pleasance allowed that.
Yeah, you'd expect that. Well, also, I mean, I don't know how much like, elbow room he was taking up with the writers or anything like that. I mean, I think he pretty much just kind of like went in and did it and just kind of hoped for the best. I
Yeah.
understand that when he was watching dailies for this, not so much on set, that came later, but with this one, he would watch the dailies along with the crew, and he would sit there and he'd usually have like a drink or two just to get himself a little tipsy, I think, just to kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
here we come.
Well, I
But
think, that Danielle Harris recounting how his breath always smelt of scotch.
Particularly in
Yeah,
Halloween 5.
yeah,
that was when she really
that was the one.
smelt it. But
I
with this one,
wonder,
yeah.
I wonder what the situation was on Halloween 6.
Oh boy,
Um,
he seemed pretty happy to be there.
yeah.
But we'll talk about that when we're together. But what I wanted to say about Loomis. Oh, now I lost the thread. What were we talking
Well,
about?
Davy B. Jones,
Yes.
999. Do we think Hoffman is in on the cult stuff from 5 and 6 or not? I don't think so, because this is a completely different institution. This is
Yeah.
Richmond,
Yes.
whereas like all the other stuff was um, gosh, why
Richmond.
can't I?
Ridgemont.
Ridgemont? What did I say? Richmond?
Yeah. Richmond,
Ridgemont.
not Richmond,
Ridgemont.
Virginia.
What's the
Ri
one? What's the name of the one where he's in the original?
In the original, he's in shit. Now
Smiths
I can
Grove.
all.
Smiths Grove.
Yeah, Smith Grove, because all I could think was Haddonfield when you asked me, because you know
Gosh.
me, I can't do
If
shit.
if this was like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I'd be like sitting there stumped and being like, why can't I remember this?
And yet we'd be,
But
if we were
yeah,
watching, we'd be screaming at the television, "You
yeah,
idiot!"
yeah.
But yes,
Yeah, so
Smith's
I don't think
Grove.
he's involved in it. I liked that character though. Like I like to hate him.
Oh yeah,
And I
yeah,
wish that he did come back in
yes.
some capacity, somewhere, in some I believe that actor's passed on by this point, but
Mhm.
it would have been neat to see because I always loved when they brought people back for like, um Nurse Marion in H2O, just like,
Yeah.
little appearances
Hmm.
here and there.
Not that one
Yeah.
in Kills, but yeah. But
I don't know her.
I like him. I
Uh,
like him better than Sartain for sure. But
oh
or
God.
I like watching him. Let me put it that way. I like watching him more than I like watching
I
Sartain.
like him better than Sartain
Yeah.
too.
But I no, to answer your question also for me, I don't think he's part of it because I mean it'd be nice. It'd be nice to think that there's something that's kind of like planted, like just some kind of like he wanted this to happen. But I feel like we're really in the beginning of kind of like creating a we as a society, how we cope with things, like as a community, with this movie without being too heavy-handed about it. Like, and we'll
Mm,
get there with the rest of it, but I feel like he's one of the most emblematic things of kind of like the thing that we expect from a slasher movie, or particularly a slasher sequel, the disbelief and the irresponsibility, the lack of accountability, and the lack of follow through because we don't see him again for the rest of the
mm,
movie. It's Loomis who has to go out there and do the dirty work. But,
yeah.
and then on the other side of it, we meet Sheriff Meeker, who's the antithesis of that. He doesn't want to see this. Oh, I don't know, it's almost moving. He doesn't want to see this happen to his town again.
Yeah.
That was one night that never should have happened from his point of view. So now that he knows that this killer's on the loose and this man is ranting at me about what's going on, you know what? We're going to do everything we can to try and stop him. And it's not enough. That's what I fucking love. I don't need everybody to be Dr. Hoffman. I
Yeah.
like different responses from different people. And no matter what you
Absolutely.
do, the
Yeah.
fucker's going to get you. That's what I
Yeah.
like.
I wonder if now that we're talking about like all these kids and like Tommy, I wonder if Lonnie was one of the who was the one? No, it was Wade. Fuck off, Wade.
Yeah.
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 Really
And
funny
that's
if
a
it's like,
great.
fuck off, Lonnie.
Well,
Lonnie Elam.
I also, just to get back to Kelly for a second, because that's another thing I love about the antithesis between her and Rachel. Because here we've got Rachel talking about a guy hates a girl who comes on too strong, and here Kelly has no problem telling the guy, "Fuck off, Wade." Like,
Yeah.
and all he did was walk across. I mean, granted, he's been leering at her probably all day, and probably not for the first time. So she's just like, "Just get bent, you piece of shit." And I'm just like, "Yeah, In another world, it'd be interesting to see, her team up with with Rachel, not because they're friends, not out of some sense of loyalty, but just because, you know what? May- 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 Maybe we just have to like dispel with all of our prior prejudices against each other and just kind of come together and fight this
Yeah.
evil. But she doesn't live
Well,
long enough to have it go.
like there's and I because you talk about me rewriting the movie in your head
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
And I love the sequence of just like them locking themselves inside the Meeker house and most of what's going on there. But on the same token, there's like an element to that that feels very John Carpenter, if they were to go like, more of like an assault on Precinct 13 way, where it's just like they don't know that they've
Mm.
locked the evil in with them, but what if like they were locking Michael outside, and they all had to like band together to stop him from doing that. So like there could have
Mm.
been this aspect to it where they did team up, and it would have had that very like John Carpenter Western vibe to it, because he loved homaging all of his
Yeah.
Western films. But rewinding back to all that bit, was there anything you wanted to say about the I guess her hallucination of just like seeing Uncle Michael?
It feels like placeholder, Michael. It's because I think that was the first exposure I ever had to this mask was in
Yeah.
the trailer or a commercial even. And it's the shot where he leans up from the floor and the lightning strikes and illuminates the mask in
Yeah.
what's supposed to be kind of like, behold the horror. And instead, what I get is Brent Spiner as Data from Star Trek The Next Generation. Every time, it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
It's not the shape. It's
It's
not.
it's the shoulder pads too that are,
God. And this is
yeah.
the thing. Um, it's just everything about this is not my Michael Myers. Because
No.
even the body language as he moves, the thing that it evoked for me, I talk about like thinking about other franchises while I watch this movie. I looked at him and I remembered that guy in the shower in Freddy's Revenge, who they hired to play Freddy before they were smart enough to get Robert Englund back. And he just kind of waddles side by side, like toward Jesse and or no, toward the gym teacher.
Mm.
And so there's something about the way he moves. It's just so. I mean, we talked about in Halloween 2 about how it wasn't quite, the same body language, but it still worked for me. The robotic,
Yeah.
movements of the shape. It still felt when that boom, boom sequence is happening toward the elevator and everything like that. I still feel the tension when I watch that scene. I don't get scared of this Michael Myers once, even while he's on top of the car, like reaching for Rachel. I don't want her to get reached for. I don't want her to
Mhm.
have her neck torn open too. But I'm it doesn't feel like a Halloween movie when
Yeah.
he's on screen, and that's the hardest thing. So when Danielle Harris is just screaming her guts out, and she got that incredible scream really early in life, so good for her. Ellie Cornell has a good one too. But I'm just focusing on Jamie Lloyd at that point and
Mhm.
trying to think, oh, how horrific to be pulled by around your ankle under your bed and everything like that, and oh, how horrible to have to hide in your closet clutching your little box and everything like that, and she's inconsolable. Her mother has to cradle her and say like, it's okay, it was just a nasty old dream and all that. I get on board with the people as opposed to just I think just trying to focus on what works about the scene
Yeah.
and what doesn't. That's what I think about there. What about you?
Well, interestingly, the mask
Yes.
is this, it's not the one that was used in the movies, but they had the same materials to make it. So they wanted to
Yeah.
recreate it. So they got the William Shatner masks,
Hmm.
and they were doing the thing where they were like painting it, but they didn't do it the way that Tommy Lee Wallace did for the original,
Yeah.
which is the same mask that's carried over for Halloween too.
Yeah.
So whenever they did like put too much paint on, or like there was
Yeah.
like something, they cut the holes,
Netting over the
yeah,
eyes, like
there,
black netting, and
yeah,
so abundantly
there's just like
clear.
weird shit that they did. And this actually, I guess we could just, we're talking about the mask, let's talk about the infamous pink skinned
Yeah.
blonde one.
Hmm.
So as legend would have it, it was a very late night shoot when they were, at the school there, and they, for whatever reason, I guess they needed another mask, or they didn't have access to the mask that they had been using. So they're just like, run into the trailer and go grab another one of the masks because they had
Mm.
several of them, but they
Yes.
hadn't painted all of them.
Yes.
So somebody grabbed one of the pink masks
One of the
and brought it on.
unfinished masks. Yes.
And apparently nobody noticed it. Like they were just so tired and it was
Mm.
just like I I call bullshit on that. I think that they just didn't care. I think that they probably just like it's one shot. Nobody's gonna notice it because like they're talking about it now.
Hmm.
Like they didn't like they only found out about it once the audience started to talk about it, which is
Hmm.
just not true. I mean, like when we shot Macabre, but which is just a short film, but we did 3 night shoots, and I mean it's like 12 hours like each night, like
Yeah.
as crazy as that got, like we were laser focused. And
Yes.
even if we missed something there,
Hmm.
it's once we're in post production and editing and everything, it's just like you notice stuff like that. So I think that they just didn't care. They probably assumed like nobody, who's gonna know, who's gonna know, and lo and behold, everyone. So now they're just kind of like trying to save face and being like, oh yeah, it was just such a crazy, like it was great.
Dwight Little actually said in interview, like I saw the words coming out of his mouth, he said, if we had more money and we had more time, I guess we could have gone back and reshot it. And when I see the movie now, I think, oh, we probably should have. And I'm like, or you should have just had somebody like, oh, that's the wrong mask. I can see it. Everybody can see it. Can you just go back? Let's take five, go
Hmm.
back, get the right mask. We'll put it on. I'm like, how difficult was it? I mean,
Mm.
like, I could understand if the masks were like a commute away, like 3 hour drive
Yeah,
away, and they only brought the wrong one. That's one thing. But the
yeah,
fact that it was just like in some trailer on the sidewalk, and they were like, because that's the other thing. They did
yeah,
correct an issue that again nobody was paying attention to this, which was the infamous. Well, I don't know if it's infamous, but infamous among us in the know. Donald
mm,
Pleasance with his little cap when he was. I think it was the scene with all of the Michael Myers, all the kids with the
yeah,
prank dressed up in the mask and everything as
yeah,
the shape, and he's like, I don't know which one to shoot, basically.
yeah.
Until it's revealed that it's a prank, and then they all go running off, and Sharon Meeker's like, I'd say I catch any of you, you're spending a night in a hole, or something like that. I don't remember what he said, but
Yeah.
that is the essence. And Donald Pleasance, it was a very cold night, and he's got a little bald head, so he had his cap on and forgot on a number of takes for about half of the scene or the footage that they had shot that he was in that particular night. He had his cap on, and nobody reminded him to take it off. And I don't know, maybe he was having a little drink, and maybe he was
How have
just kind of not
I've
thinking.
never noticed this.
Oh no, it's not in the movie.
Yeah,
It was so noticeable because he never wears a cap in the
yeah.
entire movie. They were
Okay, so
like,
this is just like,
that's just laughable. So
yeah,
obviously again, Donald Pleasance's visage on screen was a priority. Michael Myers was
yeah.
not.
I
Is what that tells me.
Yeah. Speaking of that scene, I love that like the one guy says like, you thought it was me. And it's just like, what does that mean? Like, so is he like referring to himself as Michael Myers in like the third person now? Like you thought it was me, or in the first person? It's like, okay, sure.
I think it's
But
just to punch the stupidity of those individuals.
sure. But that see, actually, because there's 2 moments now that we were talking about the mask, and then that
Yeah.
scene, it's kind of like a callback to Ben Tramer, we mentioned earlier,
Yes,
because
yes.
it's like I love that like Loomis has learned nothing, and he's just like so like ready to just like start shooting people, even though like he is directly responsible for the death of this teenager from
Yes.
10 years earlier, and it's never mentioned like it exists in this
No.
timeline. It's like there's nothing is
Yes.
brought up about it, like there's no guilt, nothing, uh
Oh,
remorse
it's
or
10
anything.
years ago.
Yeah, no, and he's just ready to do it again. But about the blonde mask,
Yeah.
Because that's and you know, when I watched these movies initially, I did not see them in sequence. I've talked about this. I think the first one I
Yes.
ever watched was Halloween 6,
Yeah.
and then I watched Halloween original, and then I watched Halloween 4 because these are the ones that were available at the store. So I had not yet seen Halloween 2, but I remember, like, you know, seeing Halloween 4 for the first time and I'm like, oh, he's blonde there. And I think like part of me thought like maybe it was like because retroactively she sprays him with the thing, so I thought maybe like looking back at it like, oh, that must have been like affected by the fire extinguisher because that'll, you know, change the color of it. But then when I finally saw Halloween 2 for the first time and saw the blonde wig, and I'm just like, oh, oh, it's that mask. That's the one. It's like it's Ben Tramer. So every time I watch Halloween 4 now and the blonde mask pops out, I'm just like, it's the ghost of Ben Tramer getting revenge on Loomis.
In an elementary school.
Yes.
I love that. Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Um, I actually now you're making me think like, they if they had a pink mask with like white blonde hair, platinum blonde hair, what
Yeah.
they should have done, he looks more like Billy Idol too, but what they should have done is taken that character who's just like, you thought it was me. They should have put him in a pink mask. Like everybody else is dressed like Michael Myers and got it right. And the
Yeah.
one doofus, like of all those doofuses, the
Yeah.
doofusest of the doofuses is standing there in just like a pink mask, like, I did the best I could and you thought it was me. I don't know. There's a story there.
Yeah.
I want some more rich backstories with my atmospheric characters.
That was Lonnie Elam.
That
And
was
then
Lonnie.
Loomis, when they ran away, he should have been like, Lonnie, get your ass away from here. Do you think that the shape, as it were, that was stalking Rachel through this back alley, do you think that was actually Michael, or do you think it was like these kids?
Oh, never thought about that. I mean, kind of difficult call. I've always just
Mm,
assumed it was him because he gets the
yes.
music. But she, and
Well,
just because of her,
so does Spitz in Halloween 5, so that
that's
doesn't mean
true. But
anything.
well, well, this is not Halloween 5. But no, I always
I
assumed
know,
it
but
was
I'm
him.
eager.
I always because Rachel is one of our final girls, and I kind of like the idea that like her dander went up, like her little
Yeah.
spidey sense started tingling and was like, oh, "This is no good," because she didn't just walk in the opposite direction; she ran for her dear life. And
Yeah.
I was like, it doesn't feel like an overreaction to me. It feels like there is a clear threat here. I don't fuck with this. I'm jumping over a
Yeah.
fence, and I'm
She
gonna.
also she also lost Jamie, and then she blamed Jamie for it. Another strike against
That's very
Rachel.
1980s, I think, though,
But
because kids were supposed to know better then.
well, I don't. So you know, we're talking about these bullies. These are the same kids that are like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah.
that's a cool costume. Want to hang out with us?" I wish that there was a like that would have been fun if Jamie was just like, "No, fuck you."
I wanted to ask you, do you think that psychopathic Frankenstein, that little shit, do you
Yeah.
think he knew that it was Jamie behind the mask or that he was just commenting to some random kid and accidentally nice to her? If he had
No, no,
known.
he knew. This is what I'm talking about. Like the script is just so basic that it's too basic for its own good that oh, we need some kids that are gonna invite her to trick or treat. Well, why don't we just use the same ones from earlier that were like, you know, giving her a hard time for being an orphan?
Now they accept her and then they abandon
Yeah,
her. That's another thing that doesn't get explored. I wondered always, and this screening was no exception. I
yeah,
was just kind of like, again, she's with them, she's following them. She's, like they seem to, I guess they don't have any adults that are like kind of watching over them.
yeah.
But how did they lose her or how did she lose them? Did all of them just kind of go home and she was like, "Oh, I guess I'll go home too." Like I would love just little things like that just to kind of loop me in a little bit more to her experience as opposed to and now she's
Yeah.
alone.
Or if we found out that they were like setting her
Pranking
up.
her.
Yeah.
Carrie style.
Well, that's it. And here's all these transgressors. You know, we talked about Hoffman who just disappear. All these people ripe for the killing
Yeah.
who are just like well, we don't like Wade, and I mean, not that Wade deserves it, but Hoffman and
Hmm.
these kids and the fucking pranksters and the Michael Myers
Yeah. Well,
masks.
even the people who did die, like when, you mentioned the diner before and the garage, and then
Yeah.
later it's the precinct. All of these people die off screen, and it's not like in the first movie where you can, like an alarm goes off and everybody's gathering. What happened at the hardware store? Oh, it's probably just some kids stealing, a couple knives and a mask. And
You
that can
blame everything on kids.
yeah, that can
Yeah.
happen off screen. But when all of these people are being wiped out and you only show us the reveals. I feel like the reveals in the first movie were kind of for Laurie, like here I've killed all these people. You get your kill scenes. Now you get to watch their dead bodies revealed from my final girl to terrorize
Yeah.
her. That's something that if it had been not that all of those people need to be set up and revealed and drop down and door opens or anything like that. Oh my God, body in the cupboard.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's something that you're going to kind of like adhere to keep it, kind of like a return to form with the first movie, I
Yeah.
don't understand why you don't do more of that. Give us the kills, stop showing us this talking head late night telly TV and telly TV,
Telly.
nighttime telly is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
But I do have to say though, just to jump back a little bit, the Halloween section of that drugstore is decked out. And it reminds me of how Halloween, that's something that really felt familiar to
Yeah.
me. Halloween in the 80s, the
Yeah.
way you could walk into. There were even like, I remember there were full on quote unquote magic shops where you could buy costumes and rent costumes year round.
Yeah.
But around the time, and they always had Halloween masks and things like that, but around the time of Halloween, it was like, you had to like walk through an archway and go, and at least I did. And I remember just seeing masks that would decorate the walls, and you would just kind
Yeah.
of, the way
All
that
these things
Jamie
that are
is.
not child friendly anymore, and that's why
Yeah.
we don't have nice things now. But no, like, and I was asking about the scene, um, 'cause Michael doesn't yet know that Jamie is Jamie,
Hmm.
and he like full on swipes at her with his knife when he
Yeah.
gets the mask. Like
Hmm.
he's just
You think he
like,
doesn't know
yeah.
though? You think he doesn't
I
know?
think that he's starting to he's starting to suspect something, and that's why he follows them back to the house and et cetera and so forth. I also love that very I know what you did last summer, that the one picture that Jamie has of Lori is
Hmm.
just like happens to be taken on the same day of like the events of the original film. Just like
Of course.
Julie having the picture of Helen Shivers on the clam in the
Right, right,
parade.
right. Well, also that's another thing. I have a question that I kind of like the mystery around it, but it does make me wonder how much exposure does Jamie have to her uncle's history, and how does she feel about it? Because she's got in that collection of photos a photo of her Uncle Boogeyman as a
Yeah,
little boy decked out in the clown outfit that's established prior to her seeing the clown costume,
yeah,
wanting to buy it and thinking she found the perfect costume. And
yeah,
then when she looks in the mirror, the Havre visits her in the reflection of the little boy Michael.
yeah.
Not quite, but it's, close
Well, I
enough,
mean,
I
that's even
guess.
more implausible that they're like this photo exists because where did she get this photo from? Lori
Yeah,
didn't even have like Lori's family
right.
had devised this elaborate scheme so that not only she but everyone in all of Haddonfield and Smiths Grove would not know that Michael is her brother. So it's just like, suddenly this photo has come into
Yeah.
Jamie's possession. I have no comment. That's just the stupidity of this movie.
But see, that's the thing is everybody in the town seems to know it because the kids are chanting about Boogeyman, Boogeyman, and all that like, and she just keeps saying stop it, and but she has a photo of him, so I'm just kind of like, so did she know? And again, if she knows, how does she feel about it? Because that would make that because okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump to the end because the thing that I actually it gets a lot of criticism, But I think it's actually the most interesting thing about the movie for me that happens is that the Hara eclipses Jamie and she stabs her mother with the scissors. And I love the reveal of her just kind of like, just standing at the top of the
Um,
stairs, with these bloodstained scissors, and and now, now, and everybody recoiling in horror at her, and I kind of, I don't know. There's something about it that I'm just like, wish the whole movie had been a little bit more curved in that direction. It's not that it's not going that way, but like seeds are planted and everything like that. But again, that's the movie I want to see. I want to see a girl who's haunted by something she doesn't even understand and
yeah.
maybe starts blacking out or starts doing things, finding herself in places and
So
asks, what? Yeah.
more like uh what's his face in Friday the 13th 5? Tommy.
I mean, even because Tommy Jarvis doesn't, that's not necessarily his trajectory either, because he's not really getting haunted by anything. He's just like a kid who's into spooky things, who doesn't quite fit, who's surrounded by all
No,
these
but
teenagers
he's
and
haunted by Jason in part 5.
oh, you okay, you mean in part five. I'm thinking like just purely
No,
part four.
I said part 5.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Okay, so
I
part
need you to
five.
put your listening ears on,
Though
as
not not
Judy would say.
not my unlistening ears, my,
Yeah.
my ears that don't listen. Sorry, I've got my deaf ears on for the pod. But anyway, no. Okay, so in five, I don't need her to. I mean, by the time that's him like going out to like that facility and everything like that. I don't need that, but just to see her
She
trying to
needs to be
get.
jacked too. She's gotta have like six-pack abs and a 7-year-old girl.
No, no, I just want to see her, kind of like trying to get her footing in this new family, trying to
Yeah.
get her footing in this school, and again, I don't even know is this school new for her, or was she raised in Haddonfield?
Mm,
Did Lori go away? Like what? I have a lot of questions that I think would only feed my interest in the
yeah.
trajectory of this particular story arc.
And why are Lori's adoptive parents not taking care of Jamie?
Well, because
Like,
she's not her real mother. Also, okay,
yeah.
did we cover this in Halloween 2? I don't remember. What do
Yeah.
you think prompted that response? Like, do you think Jamie in Halloween 2 like asked her mother for a hug and she's just kind of like, I told you, I'm not your real mother?
I
Like,
don't know. I don't it's
or she's just kind of like, come on,
well,
mom,
what she's doing so she's doing laundry. She's hanging up the
yes.
laundry. Maybe she got like chocolate fingers all over. Speaking of Friday 5.
So the next thing Lori said,
Joey.
yeah, right. The next thing Lori says
Yeah.
to her adoptive mother, if she says, "I told you, I'm not your mother," she go like, "Well, if that's the way you feel about it, I think you're really out of line." And then she walks away.
Exactly.
Okay, so anyway, um, excuse me. One encounter that I do gravitate toward in this, I remember not really. I liked it on paper, and I didn't really like the way it was executed. I've gotten more on board with it as the years have gone on. Is Loomis on the road and that car full of teens with the cheerleaders and everything like that, full on with pom poms and everything. I guess they just came from homecoming or something,
Yeah.
and they're all pulling over. Because I remember what I didn't like about it the first time I saw this movie when I was what in my teens.
Yeah.
I thought Loomis would be smarter than to expect teens that were that gung ho about
Yeah.
him getting picked up on the side of the road. Where it's just a game. This is a prank. They're just gonna pull away. What I like about it now isn't so much in the logic of it, but just I guess the cinematic storytelling, because it feels like these kids are emblematic of a carefree, wholesome, well, maybe not wholesome, but self-absorbed American ideal that these kids are fully embodying a carelessness, a carefree, just kind of like swagger with which they're conducting their lives. And Loomis
Is that how
can
they treat
never,
old people?
well, not even about old people. Loomis is in another world. He can no longer occupy
The man
that
has
kind
got a
of life.
cane, and they're like, "Come on, run over here,
I
old man." And
know, I know,
they're
but I mean,
awful. Stop
well, yeah,
justifying their
no, 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 no,
bullshit.
no, 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 no. I'm not justifying their behavior.
Wholesome
What I'm saying, no, I'm not. I just said it's not
slice of
wholesome.
Americana.
Oh my God. Okay. if I can make my point. No, it's not about redeeming them. It's about the fact that he can no longer occupy that kind of carefree universe. His world is one of shadows, is one of torment, and that world is going to leave him in the dust anytime he attempts to even reach out and try to connect with it. And that's what I love about the next moment. Reverend, is it Sayer? Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Sayer just pulls up in his tiny little rickety, I don't even know what kind of
Jalopy.
vehicle that is. His jalopy,
Yeah.
perfect word. His jalopy, because he's like Loomis. He's the kind of guy that those kids would make fun of. He's the kind of guy that most people would probably, at best, politely listen to for maybe a few seconds and then kindly excuse themselves, or at worst, just like make fun of to his face and disrespect him. And I like that Loomis gets in the car, something that, wouldn't happen unless there was a death. He starts drinking while driving, day drinking, offers the bottle to Loomis, and Loomis takes it willingly because they're
And
in
he
the same boat.
smiles.
And he smiles. It's
Yeah.
just like that, hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there, kind of moment where you just get to see him beam for like a
Yeah.
brief moment. So even though he can't occupy a space in, a quote unquote carefree America, as it were,
Yeah.
or suburbia or wherever he is, he can still find some kind of pocket of solace in these almost secret moments. And I think that's the thing that's probably the most heartbreaking about Dr. Loomis for me at this point in his life is that all of his happiness is basically secret. It's unseen
Mm.
and unrecognized by other
Well,
people.
you know what they say about boys who keep secrets.
They don't get custard for dessert.
Yeah. And-
But because yeah, singing "Gather at the River" and everything like
yeah.
that. Just Loomis on the Road, I feel like is a wonderful,
Yeah.
again, microcosm cinematically of just kind of
Mhm.
like where that character has been and where he goes. So I think
Yeah.
that was a good choice on the filmmaker's part.
Michael killed a dog. He didn't
Another
eat
one.
it. Or maybe he nibbled. I don't
We
know. We
only
didn't
saw the
really.
face, like the top
Yeah.
part. Maybe he ate the stomach. I don't know.
Maybe.
I got hungry.
He
But
got hungry. Well, the dog's name is Sunday.
oh, like
Yeah.
with an E, like an ice cream
I believe so.
sundae.
Yeah, Sunday. Sunday.
Oh, like he's such a good little treat. Oh, see,
Yeah.
he ate him then.
Yeah.
They just didn't show it to us because all the gore was added later in this movie, and they just didn't
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
resources, I guess.
Well, I mean, like, it just left there for the parents to come home and find it. Oh, so and here's another little stupid part of the movie.
Yeah.
So, the whole scene happens with Bucky.
Oh
I
yeah,
love that
yeah.
he's just Bucky on the helmet,
It's the prop
and
master's name. The prop master was named Bucky. That's why he put his name on the.
uh, the power of the entire town conveniently goes out. But I
By throwing
love
a
how,
body on it. Is
yeah.
that plausible that you throw a body
But
on?
also just like here, and that's another scene of like where the blocking is just like terrible because it's like how far away from Michael is this guy? Like he just sort of like he just steps forward and he's right there and like hoists him up. But
Yeah,
sorry, the entire power grid of Haddonfield goes out, and I guess this is clear the streets, everybody. We're going home to our
yes.
dark houses or whatever. But I love how like when the Carruthers come home, and
Yeah.
then like the deputy is like driving out, and I guess that was like worrisome to them. But they like pull in and they get out of the car and they're like, I don't think they're home. The lights aren't on. And it's just like, are you kidding me? Like this.
I guess
How did they miss that?
whatever
No, they
party
were.
they went to was out of town. I
Did
don't
they
know.
not? Did they not drive by every fucking house to get there
M
and wonder like, why are all the lights out? Where are all the
M
kids?
Mrs.
What's?
Carruthers was making the most of their night out without kids,
Yeah.
and she was probably distracting her husband while he drove, if you get my meaning.
Oh, this is like a scary movie or Stephen King's Thinner.
Yeah. She just wanted to give him a little magic
Yeah.
night, and so neither of them were focusing on the
That would
houses.
have been the scene when Meeker is that his name? The sheriff and Loomis
Yeah.
are driving off, and Michael's standing there in the street, and he's
Yes.
just standing there, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just see like a car come and like plow into Michael, and
Very scary
they're
movie.
just like, "What was that?"
Well, one thing that I love that I never picked up on before, because it's just kind of like an
Yeah.
incidental line that gets thrown away as the Carruthers are leaving. Apparently, I guess it's so we don't think, kind of like with Lori's parents, that that just they were just key party all night, just
Yeah.
whatever. Let's wife swap. I apparently I didn't get all of it, but I heard the mother saying on the way out something about like this party will mean the difference between vacations in Bermuda or 2 weeks at grandma's house, something like that. So I
Yeah.
guess it was for one of their, maybe his business, her business, whatever, whoever's at work. I guess they had to make an appearance and make a connection. So they were networking. So it was important for them to be away from the house.
Well, clearly it worked for them because they're on vacation in Halloween 5. But I was gonna say, like, these people are not like bad off. Like, they've got a nice house. Like, that's a big house.
Yeah, but it's in Illinois. Like, I mean, it's not like a big house on the West Coast or the East Coast, like you get, housing.
Yeah.
He's doing well. I'm agreeing with you, but I am
Yeah.
saying like they're not living like if they were living in LA, I'd be like, how do they afford that house?
Yeah.
Because I don't, what do they do? I don't even know what they do.
It's not an it's immaterial, as you would say. I think that she's a stay-at-home. I think she just mends the ironing and like
Men's the
men
irony.
mends and irons and makes
Launders
la-
and darns.
launders and pours
Dar
cereal and picks up the phone. She takes the calls
she
and
books babysitters.
for all the yeah because they got to go out on the town.
So she's a
Uh,
stay-at-home mom, basically, is
yeah.
what
Well,
you're
I think
saying.
one of the scripts, this alleged party was happening
Hmm.
at the old Myers house. Uh,
Yeah, that was another thing that was missing. John
yeah.
Carpenter gave us
Well,
that from the beginning. The first thing we see, in addition to just like the jack-o'-lantern burning, which is something everybody has
and
seen
the
and held
last
in their
thing we
hands,
see.
and the last thing, but
Yeah.
then the next, like then he just takes us into suburbia. Like the whole focal point is like moving across the street toward a house. It's all
Yeah.
where things are happening. I don't understand. See, again, Carpenter speaks my language more than Dwight Little. Anyway, sorry, I
Well,
just
what
wanted
else
to make
did
that
Dwight
point.
Little do?
I don't
But I mean,
know.
I will say that there's a moment when Loomis leaves Meeker's
Yeah,
house because I guess his mission is like he's gonna find Michael before anyone else does.
yeah.
And he says like he's going back to the Carruthers house because it's like Michael will go looking for her there.
Hmm.
But it's just like it would have been cool if he's like, I'm gonna go to Michael's house because that's
Hmm.
where he might go. We haven't thought to check there yet.
Yeah.
And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you feel about it, it comes back next year, but
Yeah.
or next week if you're hanging out with us here. But yeah, it definitely it was missing in this
Yeah.
film for sure. I needed some Myers house.
I get that. Another thing, though, that I was actually kind of glad for the absence of, I alluded to this earlier in terms of the vigilante guys, if we can move on to that. I mean, they're out. You have no precinct. You have no police force, I think is what he says
Yes.
to
You
Sheriff
haven't
Meeker.
got a police
Yes,
force.
there you go. So if Chucky were playing,
They're a is that Chucky?
I mean,
It's
it's always,
awake.
yeah, it's always a
But
little
the
Chucky
number was
adjacent.
butchered.
Like Chucky doing a Donald Pleasance impression, maybe, yeah. But
What
no,
would I'm just trying to think of Chucky as Donald Pleasance. A filling station up in flames.
but trying to do a British accent. Can you do
Oh
that?
no, I can't.
Yeah, it's like
That's just too much. It's too
it's like
much.
juggling with four balls, I know. But anyway, okay. So no, okay. So the town is just kind of like, okay, we got nobody. State police are on their way, but they won't be here for 35 minutes. And at the beginning, I don't think they even know that. They just know that he's out there and somebody's got to do something, which
Yeah.
on one hand, I actually kind of entertain that notion. I'm like, yeah, protect your own. But of course, they fumble it at the first one. I'm like, I see him right there. Kaboom! And it's like, I don't remember how he says it, but it's just like, you dumb bitch. You said you saw Myers.
Yeah.
And something like that. I like the fact that it occurred to me that this line was not said because it could have been just slapping us across the face with it. One of those guys in that moment in the discovery of what was his name? Oh, Ted Hollister. In the discovery of poor Ted Hollister lying there dead now. Why he was hiding behind a bush is his story, but it's his business.
He was
But
drunk.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And so they're just sitting there like, you thought you said it was Myers. Another one could have
You
said,
dumb son of a bitch.
but another one could have said, look, he's turning us into monsters.
Oh, like in
In a very,
Kills.
in a very Sheriff Brackett Halloween Kills kind of
Yeah.
like way. And I was just kind of like, no, we got it. Like I got it even as a kid, or as a teen. I remember watching it and just thinking like, yeah, see, if you're going to do something like that, you got to be smart about it. And it's not like Loomis is necessarily the most careful, calculating person in the world, but and he has also been quasi responsible, for or he's played an instrumental part in the death of an innocent bystander in Halloween 2 already with Ben Tramer and everything like that. But that's different than like shooting a bush, indiscriminately. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's not
Well, I
that much
mean,
better, but
he
it's
would have shot Ben Tramer if Brackett hadn't
right,
intervened.
right. If Brackett hadn't intervened,
Yeah,
and
I fully believe that.
but the fact that like there is no Meeker or deputy there to just kind of like stop, and no wiser, no cooler head to prevail.
Yeah.
It just kind of looks like what madness would be, and that like how now we have another thing to
Mm,
mourn on
But
Halloween night. Like
but
it's
at
not
this
just the
but at the
night he
same
came home; it's the night we
time,
fucking shot our own.
at the same time, Loomis is kind of like, as you would say, the first domino because he's the one that instigates the mob, and he's like, yeah, it was Michael Myers, and he
Yeah.
said that your mom was fat too. Like, he was like,
Okay, he doesn't
like,
do that, but
well,
no,
no, but it's like he may as well have because like
but
he
he's a
knew what to
desperate
say. Like,
man.
yeah.
He's a desperate
Um,
man.
oh, he's very desperate, but uh,
What?
I don't know.
Okay,
It's
so
I
I,
mean there's a lot of like that's the thing. I'm listening to you and just like having this conversation. I'm finding things to enjoy about this movie based on like our own headcanon,
Mhm.
which it's fun. It's just nice to kind
Yeah,
of get that because
yeah.
uh,
Oh,
uh,
I saw a parallel that I never saw before.
oh
It was right when in the scene, the soul. I mean, you can call it the sex scene, even though nothing happens, but the disrobing
oh
scene by the fire with
yes.
Brady and Kelly, and he just says when I think when she takes her shirt off, he's just like, "Ooh, I think I'm in heaven," and I was like, "Hey, that's what what's his name said in the final chapter when he's in the shower, and the little virgin girl who just lost her virginity is like walking out, and he says, 'Hey, I think I'm in heaven,' and she goes, 'I think I'm in love.'" It's like, "What?" And she's like, "Nothing," and then she dries her hair and then goes
You
back
know
for
what I
seconds.
thought of
What did you
was
think?
GoldenEye, Famke Jensen, when they're on that boat because she's stealing the helicopter and she's like in full dynasty with like that big sun hat and all that and she's like standing in the back as the pilots walk by and she whistles to them and he's like she says something like the boys have a little surprise for you back from the barracks and the one guy turns to the other and he's like I think I'm in heaven and she says not yet and pulls out the gun and shoots them.
You
That's what
think
I was thinking of.
you would? There's nothing surprising about
Yeah,
that to me, and
yeah.
I don't even remember that moment. But
Oh my gosh,
well, I'm glad we
yeah.
both got something from
I was
that.
actually it's speaking of other James Bond parallels because you mentioned the scene where Loomis is running up to the car. Totally stole that from Octopussy when Roger Moore is rushing to the circus to defuse this nuclear
Oh
bomb, and
boy.
there's like these German kids because they're in Germany, and they're like, come on," and he runs up and they drive off, and they're like, "You shits, you just probably caused the death of millions."
I love you and your Bond.
Mhm. Anyway,
I do have to say, you alluded earlier to like not being bored by this film, and I'm not bored, but I do feel a kind of lockdown of action
mm,
for me. Because you talked about like them being in the house and the evils in the house with you and all that,
mm.
and there are little things where I'm just kind of like, okay, I see what you're doing. Like again with like when Kelly's talking to the deputy, and then he's like, "There's nothing can get in here," and then the little face, the
Well, that's
white face gets
Rachel's.
illuminated, and then yeah,
Yeah,
and then disappears,
yeah,
and everything to let
love
you know,
that.
oh, he's
There's
inside.
another moment where you can see his silhouette standing in a window frame or a door frame, like
Right,
earlier
right.
on.
Yeah, like in the
Um,
background. So, I
I
mean,
just,
all of that's fine and good, but it's like 10 minutes of them just kind of like moving around this kitchen. And the climax of it is the
yeah,
confrontation between Kelly and Rachel. But for most of it, I think that's when I generally tend to. I didn't do it this time. I
yeah,
sat through it and I watched. But that's when I usually reach for my phone or get up and, go to the
yeah.
restroom or change the laundering or
Laundry.
whatever.
I think
Yeah.
it's effective. There's because it's just that it's like the Hitchcock, like the bomb is under the table
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know, so it's just like you're waiting for it to go off.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that we're kind of checking in with everyone, like like just like where could he be? And there are two moments that kind of annoy me throughout this thing, and I already mentioned one of them was when Loomis leaves, because it's like
Yes.
there really is no reason for Loomis to go anywhere at that point. Like I can understand Meeker leaving because there's all this chaos now,
Mm-hmm.
but like Loomis, it felt very written. It felt like, well, we gotta like thin the herd.
Mm-hmm.
I also didn't like that Rachel suddenly was like, oh, I think, Jamie fell asleep, so I'm gonna like wander off. It's just like
Yeah.
in that scenario, I feel like she would just be stationed there and not go anywhere.
Yeah, deal with
Um,
all your personal shit at school the next day. Or
yeah.
is it school? Okay, that's another question I have. I'm sorry, because it occurred to me that because for me, kind of a standstill
Mm.
for about 10 minutes. So I'm just kind of like wondering at one point, I was like, well, how old are they supposed to be? Are they all in high school with jobs, or are they like in their 20s or 18, just graduated high school? Like, how old are those kids supposed to be? Kelly and Rachel and Brady and
They gotta be in high school.
okay.
Yeah, I think it must be alluded to somewhere that they're in high school.
Because I never see any books with Rachel. She doesn't
Yeah.
have any homework, and she doesn't. I
It
feel like.
doesn't matter if you have your books or not, Edward.
But I feel like there would be, wouldn't they be like again, like walking? I mean, when they okay, when I usually assumed that they were teenagers purely
Mhm.
because when the car pulls up to pick up Jamie after she gets bullied, the vibe I get, not from Rachel, but from Lindsay with her
Mhm.
hair and just like everything, the way she's talking about what's going on with Brady and with Rachel and what's not and everything like that. Everything about that feels so high school to me. That doesn't feel like
Yeah.
college kids chatting. That feels like the frivolity of teen years.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
Well,
because
Anna
that's
Faris is
another thing.
saying Lori babysat Rachel, and Rachel is presumably Lindsay's age, 17, 18-ish.
Oh, that's
I think that
right.
this, like, you can chalk it up to, I'm sure that there's somewhere where it's mentioned school,
Okay.
in the movie. I
I didn't catch it
my memory
once.
is like I have a very distinct memory of someone talking about school at some point, but that just like chalk it up to the world of Halloween 4 feeling so small that they're not
Yeah.
showing us these things
Yeah.
that could have been like that's the thing, like we see the kids and they're like hanging out at the drugstore after school,
Hmm.
which is like totally fine. But if like, someone had like a book bag, or if there's like
Yeah.
certain things like, just like little stuff like that.
Binders, those, yeah.
Yeah.
But so okay, that was just the first time that I ever even kind of like wondered about it because I don't know, they could be newly graduated young adult type people who aren't quite
Yeah.
going to college yet. I don't know, but usually because usually there's a mention or there's like a walking home from school scene or something like that. But whatever. I
Yeah.
also okay. Oh, I thought again it was just kind of like a slow moment for me. But when Loomis asks Rachel, "Rachel, is your sister all right?" I wanted her to turn around again, Halloween 2, and just say, "I told you." She's not my sister. But, and then later, when the discoveries of like Michael start like popping up and Brady and Rachel are kind of taking in the aftermath or whatever, and they go to the door. I don't even know if he says something. I couldn't hear. It's also like muffled while they're moving around, but he
Yeah.
must have said something about Jamie, and she just says, "She's not dead." And then he
Well,
says,
he's
"Is it
well,
how? What is this door locked? I don't know." And then he says, "Oh no, it's a metal. What does that mean?" It's just this shaky crescendo
yeah. There's a
of line deliveries that
few
I love. I live
there's a,
for.
there's a few lines, and it's and in one of the commentaries, I don't know, maybe it's the lost one. Ellie Cornell's like very like she's like has good humor about some
Oh
of the
yeah.
some of the terrible dialogue for Rachel, because one in particular this has like, what does that mean? It was
Yeah.
later on when they come running out of the school, and she says, he's inside, and they're like, where? In the school.
Or mine, another one that I laughed out loud at is when they finally see Michael, her and Jamie, and they're running up the stairs because
Yeah.
Brady's going to take him on, and she just screams before they get into the attic, "Leave us alone! God, leave us alone!" And I'm like, dude, what, what's the end game with that? You think he's going to literally be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, oh shit, I overstepped my bounds.
Sorry.
Sorry, my
Yeah.
bad, my bad. Happy
Yeah.
Halloween, everybody. I'm leaving." There's a few lines
Well,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but
She's yeah. It's why Rachel's not one of my favorites. But oh my gosh, I yeah. The line that Brady says is something about like, because he's just like, she's already as good as dead. Like it's not that exactly, but it's like, do you think she stands a chance? Like, look at what's his face with his neck twisted around.
oh, and
Um
Amethyst just did a little research for us. The script for H4 says that Rachel is about 16, 17. So that's the script.
Thank you, Amethyst.
So she's on the cusp of adulthood.
She's on the cusp of 17. Um, okay. Because we didn't talk about Kelly's death. Because you're talking about like all these like Jamie screaming, like Danielle Harris having like a good set of lungs to scream,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Ellie Cornell, and you have what's the actress who plays
Here, I'll look it up real quick. I got it right here.
Kelly?
Kathleen Kinmont.
Yeah. Well, she's
Kathleen Kinmont.
great, but there's
Love
like,
her.
she has this like, she doesn't scream. She's just like has this like
Yeah.
like she's wheezing, like she's like
Which great, whatever your
yeah.
reaction's gonna be. But I also
Maybe she's a smoker.
I just love I watched a bit of an interview with her in like the materials on the 4K, or it's
Yeah.
on the Blu-ray actually that comes with the
Right.
4K, and she was talking about like something very elemental that was discussed with, I think, with Dwight Little when he was explaining how he wanted the character played. He just wanted to tap into the, I don't know, I guess the mean girlness of her, without, that wasn't really a term at the time, but she, just for her to just kind of see things really plainly and just to kind of approach the whole thing is just kind of like, well, I'm taller than her, my legs are longer and my boobs are bigger, so I'm more confident than she is. Like, just, and I think she played it to a T. She seems like an incredibly superficial, but I've got wants and needs. I've got an agenda I need to meet
Mhm.
for my own personal satisfaction, and I admire that about her. Because a bitch like me, of course, why not? But but her
Mhm.
death. That's another thing. There's something to admire. There's kind of like, again, the movie in a nutshell for me. There's something to admire in terms of like what I see happening. Yet, could I have used more? Of course, because
Mhm.
I appreciate the fact that Michael is sitting there with a rifle in his hand, and he has an opportunity to shoot her at close range and doesn't take it. Instead, he impales her with this rifle, with the barrel of the rifle, to, I guess, kind of like create a Bob, kind of moment. He almost tilts his head in a reaction shot after she's just kind of like impaled there on the wall. But what I dislike about it is it's a bloodless death. And when you get impaled with something dull like that, I feel like the blood, it'd be a geyser, wouldn't it be? With something that isn't sharp. I mean, you get
Yeah.
impaled with anything, but
I
if
don't know,
something
like how do you
dull,
even like I mean, he must have a lot of
strength.
well, yeah, just to be able
Well, we've
to
seen him ram his thumb into a
that's
cheekbone,
true.
or
Yeah.
is it a temple? I can't remember
Was
where it
he
is.
like was he just like imbued? Did this Lords of Samhain or the Thorn
Or the
cult
Cult of
just like
Thorn, yeah.
they're just like because he wasn't exercising, he was just sitting in that chair for fucking 17 years. So
Yeah.
like they're just like giving him all this
Like a rub down,
strength.
like just
Yeah,
imbuing
it
through
was
their
like what was
fingertips, like.
what's the hereditary Paimon?
Oh,
Yeah.
Paimon,
Paimon.
Paimon,
Yeah, it's just
something
like
like
there's
that.
just like these invisible forces
Paimon.
just like giving the power into
Things drifting, or he's just
yeah.
drinking the essence, like in Hocus Pocus, of like every
Yeah.
one of his victims. He's sucking the
Um
youth out of them, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I
But
mean
he's
there's
evil.
but the yeah, the shotgun impalement death, like there's a little bit of blood that like when it comes out of the door, but not to the level of like what you would want from that. And then Brady's death, which just feels like so needless. Like, why did he? I
Spit.
mean, he sure did, slow him down. It's, but yeah, the spitting, like, if you're gonna spit blood and like your
Mhm.
last defiant act, spit it on it. Like, imagine like getting just that blood all over like the Star Trek data mask. That would have been an
Well,
interesting look for the rest
that
of the
would have been
movie.
great just to
Yeah.
splatter on the mask. That would have been
Yeah.
interesting. But as I understand it, I think back in the day I might have
Yeah.
listened to that OG DVD commentary, and I think that's where I learned that it wasn't even something that was staged with the spit. It was something where the fake blood was starting to gurgle. He was, going to choke on it, and he didn't want to choke on it and ruin the take, so he just spit it out, thinking, okay, so they'll cut away when I spit and just get me still
Mm,
lifting and everything like that, thinking he didn't ruin the shot. And Dwight Little just thought it was something interesting, so he kept it in. And
yeah.
for me, yeah, it stands out. I'm just kind of like, why?
It's, I mean, that's another moment that I feel like the blocking is not great. And it's just like it's again like where are they in relation to one another? And then when he like finally gets at him, and then it's like they're struggling, and there is
Mm,
the spit, but it feels like a break in
yeah.
and it's like hold on, I'm gonna like stop struggling for a moment to do this,
Because
and then we're gonna
because
go
the
back.
actor was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and yeah, there's no reason to. How do you feel about the rooftop scene?
Okay, this is the thing.
Yeah.
First time I saw it, I remember I was already kind of checked out, and I remember
Mm,
sitting there kind of going like, this should be working. This seems like an interesting idea. Like, this is a really good idea, but something's missing, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it should be raining. I don't know if people should be down below watching the whole thing, getting kind of like a secondhand chill, but like an exhilarated, horrifying, like so we're the people watching them, so we can also just to get shots from the height so we understand exactly like how high they are. Like there's
yeah.
just no sense. I remember even looking at it thinking, I don't think that's a real roof. Like I don't think they're on.
Yeah.
Now, as I understand it, the way it was structured, it was still very not safe.
No.
It wasn't like we'll step off the roof and there's the floor. They could still fall and really hurt themselves on the set that they
Yeah.
built. But I remember thinking like, I see on paper why this should work. It's not working on me. Subsequently, I've learned that the original screenplay had the house on fire while that was going on. And I'm like, ooh,
Mm,
that's a nice little added kind of like time clock, as to
Yeah.
like, ticking down, and you better figure something out just to add to the drama of it. I know a lot of people have spoken throughout the years. It's one of their favorite set pieces in the whole franchise,
Oh
as an
wow.
action set piece. Yeah, I'm not on that team.
Yeah.
At best, there are times where I just kind of get on board with the interpersonal of it, just watching the
Mhm.
sister, kind of shine
Yeah.
through for Rachel, and also watching her be as tactical as she is. But I do, again, even that, I worry when she takes Jamie on her back from the beginning, before they even get on the roof, when she crashes through the window, takes little Danielle Harris, and there are two shards of glass left hanging from the top corners of the window. And I don't see Rachel take them in and regard them. So as she's moving through the window, I always cringe a little bit, just imagining poor little Danielle Harris's back. What would happen if it brushed up against the glass? And also, even just like in the movie, and whether it's fictitious and it's Jamie or it's the actual actress, I'm wondering, like, it was all breakaway glass, right? So that couldn't cut her, right? But I always cringe. So yeah, things like
Yeah,
that.
well, I don't find like most of this movie, I don't find it very scary or tense.
Hmm.
And yeah, this sequence, like a lot of it also has to do with like the movement of the actor playing Michael, because it's just like has that like as he's like climbing up and he just like pops up and it's almost comical,
Yeah.
just by the way he looks and all that. But it it looks like a set, and I don't think that there's a lot done cinematically
Hmm.
to make it not look like I just feel like we're on level with where it is. It kind of actually reminds me of the scene in Scream 6 where they're going over the ladder, where it's just
Hmm.
like we're not seeing that, like we're basically just hanging out here. We're not like down below. We're not like checking
Yeah.
out any like dynamic shots or angles or just like strange heights.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, like it's never felt that way. I heard about the fire thing. I forgot about it, and that
Hmm.
definitely would have elevated that
Hmm.
sequence. But yeah, it's just it's not one. I more so think about how Michael got down so fast. Like, did he just jump? Because he sure did, like there's no way to get out of the house,
Hmm.
allegedly. But there's another sequence, like right after this, when they're in the schoolhouse. And why did I call it a schoolhouse? I guess because Loomis calls it a schoolhouse. Um, schoolhouse,
Schoolhouse, yes.
the the schoolhouse rock. Um, when she, like right after he throws Loomis through the glass door, and then again, like she's off somewhere else, like trying doors. Michael's disappeared, and it's
Yeah.
this really it feels like it's a very, and this is not a long movie, but there's like they're taking a lot of time in this scene where she just turns around and Michael is nowhere,
Hmm.
and she's just sort of like creeping forward, and you feel like it's setting up for like a reveal, like we're gonna get like some sort of jump scare, like it's gonna surprise us as to like where Michael eventually is, and it's not
Yeah.
like she just walks for a while and then suddenly she just turns, and again, like not great spatial blocking. He's just standing on some stairs over there, and she screams, and there's this little thing, and then Rachel comes in with the fire extinguisher, and it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
none
Yeah.
that everything that happens in that building, I just find so dull. Except there is an exchange between,
Hmm.
and it's probably kind of a precursor to like things to come in
Hmm.
Halloween 5 between like the relationship between Loomis and Jamie. If it's just like she can see through his bullshit, and because he's like, we'll be safe, and clearly he doesn't believe it, and she's just like, you don't even believe that yourself, and he's like,
Yeah.
no.
No, not really.
Yeah,
Sorry. And
yeah,
just platitudes felt like a thing to say in a
yeah,
crisis.
yeah. No, but I love that. That's
You too.
that's
Me too.
an interesting dynamic, and I wish there was more of that in this movie.
Well, another interesting dynamic that I is kind of missing for me that I wish they would have capitalized on. Again, I don't know how effective it would have been because I'm not scared of this Michael Myers in this movie.
Yeah.
But one of the things that both the first two movies nailed for me is the confrontation of being alone and being pursued by something that means you harm. And it doesn't have to take, a 10-minute sequence or even a 5-minute sequence, but it just as long as the threat, like one of the most memorable things about the first movie is after the discovery of all the bodies, the discovery of Michael, the falling down the stairs, the running out of the house to cross the street, and Michael is there, and you're the locked door. You're trying to get to the neighbors, and nobody is helping you. So you get the locked
Your
door.
mom's
He's getting closer.
there
Yeah, your
having her
mom's there having her
affair.
affair. Exactly.
Don't turn on
And
the
then
lights.
and in the second
Yeah.
movie, it's the Lori, my shoes fell on the floor, and Lori now has to run, kind of in her drugged stupor,
Yeah.
maybe, to the elevator and discover the security guard and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
like all of that is incredibly tense still to this day for me. And then I get to this, and I really, because we watch it with a kind of like a different perspective when we're taking notes for this pod, or at least like I feel like I do.
I
I
don't
just
take notes. I just
yeah, I have more of
watch
a
it.
mind toward like the
Yeah.
critique than when I just sit and experience it. But
Yeah.
for the first time, I really kind of thought after after the rooftop sequence and everything, what a lovely opportunity when she thinks Rachel's dead and when she's telling her, "Come alive, Rachel." Okay, is that something they say in the Midwest? I don't know, but
Come
come
alive.
alive.
Yeah.
But
Whoever you are, I have a
no,
big dog.
that's cute. I love
Yeah.
that. Because clearly, if he could see you, there's
Yeah.
no dog. But I
Yeah.
like it's a kid mentality. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm scared, and I'm gonna say things that are gonna make you scared of me. Anyway,
Mhm.
um, I love the threat of her. This again, children in peril. I love the threat of her thinking that her big sister, who just did her a big solid on the roof just now, um, and is possibly dead from her perspective. And there's the looming Uncle Boogeyman and everything. And Danielle plays it so well with the just getting up and the screaming and everything like that. Because I think kids can be kind of compartmentalized about things like that. Like, I'm dealing with this crisis right here and I'm crying. And now I see that thing. And now I'm going to start running. And as I run, I'm going to now just unleash, just let this bellow of this out from my the basement of my soul.
Mhm.
Like, it's just going to erupt because, and this is where kind of like we'll talk about it more with Halloween 5. Feel like it does kind of like take the opportunity. I wanted Michael to go after Jamie alone for a while because that's again scarier. And
Mhm.
how scared is she? And how scary is it going to be for her to be left alone? And are people going to open doors? Are they going to turn off porch lights? How many people are actually home? And 'cause I mean, I know it's curfew, but maybe other people are at parties. Maybe other like there's opportunities to just kind of. It's kind of like again the Shape hunts Allison for me. Like it sets up a great pursuit for when the reveal of I forget the character's name, but the one who's on the wrought iron gate and everything like that with the this and
Right.
the that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
going through his jugular, and she
Was it
discovers it. She
Oscar?
sees, sure,
Oscar?
Asuka, sure, whatever. It doesn't
Oscar.
matter.
Yeah.
I like that actor though. Anyway, she sees him, sees Michael, and immediately knows, fuck, I better run. And the music is swells and it's
There you
incredible. And
got the
then
fake fog rolling
yeah, and you got
in.
her screaming in the night, and you're like, yes, this is what I come to a Halloween movie for. And then immediately
Yeah.
knock, 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 answer the door. It's over. With this movie, it's
Oh
kind of
no,
the
I'm
same
talking about the
thing.
fake fog here.
Oh, here,
You,
no, for me,
yeah, yeah.
with this movie, it's kind of like, again, yeah, screaming in the night for like a few seconds, and immediately, oh, I've got you. And I love Donald Pleasance. I want to see him. But
Yeah.
again, also, we got a little bit of Loomis alone with Michael, and it's not going to quite be the same thing because of his role in Michael's life and Michael's role in his. So I like
Mhm.
that. But even like a one-on-one with him, and even like a one-on-one with Rachel, which I guess is kind of the truck, when she's driving and the reach through and everything like that. Because that's the thing is, I feel like Jamie largely kind of becomes a prop, even in the moments that I really like in the end of the movie, like as far as him pursuing them and them running, fighting back, trying to escape his grip and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I wish Jamie had been a little bit more in peril than she was. At least just for sustain it for a little
Yeah.
bit. Let us be scared. Let us
Yeah.
worry about her, you know? Because yeah, if she'd been going through the school alone, that would have been a whole other thing. Like that, oh my God. See, I'm chilled now because I'm immediately remembering when I watched Neverending Story. Have you seen this? Neverending Story?
Like a long time ago.
Okay, well, there's
I
a kid
I
alone in the
remember the
school.
song.
Yeah, he goes up to the attic of the school,
Yeah.
whatever. It's a movie. Let the
Yeah.
movie. But he goes up there and he starts reading a book alone until everybody leaves the school, and then he's alone in the school as a storm comes and it starts to become nighttime. And I still watch that knowing that it's coming, and I just kind of get like, oh God, I get chilled thinking, imagining being at school when nobody else is there and the opportunities for, I don't know, danger for like, I'm not supposed to be here right now. That kid mentality kicks back in. And I wish we could have seen Jamie kind of like
Yeah.
move through familiar territory at an unfamiliar time with a threat. That's what I want.
How is she gonna get into the school? Because didn't Loomis had to shoot the chains?
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
don't put the chains. Have her like
Yeah.
have the doors already be open because who knows? Or I mean, maybe
Or,
Michael's in here,
go through a
or
window or
or
something.
go
Yeah.
through a window or something
Yeah.
like have a way that she knows, like the way
Yeah.
the kid in Neverending Story gets up into the attic, which she doesn't have access to, is that there's a key that apparently all the kids
Yeah.
seem to know about. It's never spoken about, but he finds a key, he unlocks the door, he goes in. So
Yeah.
give her a way. There's ways to get her in the school.
Yeah.
Or even in the schoolyard, something. Come on.
Yeah. And then the rest of the
Playground.
movie just kind of plays out, and, and the movie ends. As the teacher. No, I don't know. I just like the 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 shootout is wild, but all the
Yeah.
stuff when they're like in the truck, and it's like I don't know. It feels so telegraphed. It's like yeah, he's underneath the truck, isn't he? Even like just pretend that I'd never seen the movie before. It's just like
Right.
there's a vibe to it that just like it's unmistakable. Like it just feels like the movie's going through the motions at this point, until Michael just, let me do away with the rest of these people, and for some reason, everybody in the truck is not cognizant of what is going on like right behind them
Until
or
it's too
hearing
late.
like hearing people like screaming or whatever. No, like even like once he's like thrown the other two off the thing or whatever, the driver Earl, because he's sort of like, did I hear something? And then it's too
Yeah.
late because it's like he gets that. And then of course we talked about that. That's a really cool effect. But then you have the whole um running Michael over bit,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess they redid in H2O.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that moment where I guess they just have the dummy propped up and they're driving the truck into him, and it just like,
And it's just
yeah,
like the
I'm just gonna
yeah.
stand here.
Yeah, well, again, which if he were standing in a way that was menacing even, that might look like he's
Yeah,
daring them to do it, but because it's just kind of like a like this is beyond blank. This is like a nothing. You know?
yeah,
Like there's just an absence of consciousness, and I never got that from Michael Myers in the movies prior to this. There
yeah,
always seemed to be an eye line, a focal
yeah.
point, intention.
Hmm.
Even if it's something as just kind of like fleeting as like a shark. I think we did compare Michael to a shark maybe in the first pod, but yeah, just him kind of like I don't know as he drifts through. I think the body language of the first shape.
Never
Um,
underestimate the power.
yeah. But with this one, yeah, he just kind of looks
Yeah,
like, oh, uh-oh. Of course, the truck's gonna hit me. And
yeah.
then
Are you
yes.
satisfied when they just like blow the shit out of him?
No.
Well, the
Especially,
first the first time you ever watched it though, because like I remember the first time I saw the movie and I was just like, fuck yeah.
oh
Like
no.
that's how you do it.
Oh, that's sweet. That's really cute. No,
Thank you.
I was too old and jaded by that
What year
point.
did you watch
And
this?
I don't know, probably I might have been like 14, 15, maybe. I don't know. I don't have a vivid memory of I
Uh,
just remember the first time I saw it, I was just kind of like, "What?" Like the first
what?
movie. is one of the cornerstone moments in me being frightened by horror. The second movie, I was so jazzed to find out there was connective tissue and lore beyond like what was introduced in the first movie. We uncovered things and everything, so I could look past, some of the flaws. This one, I remember when I got to it, I was just kind of like, I don't know if I like this franchise. I like the first two movies, and then I watched the rest of the movies, and I had my own opinions, which have evolved over time.
Oh,
But
and have they?
have they? But with this
Yeah.
one, I mean, I see, because I think it's also just the thing. It's a movieing, which is inoffensive. He's falling through what is clearly like a set planks of wood and
Like
whatever to just kind of
quicksand.
tumble through and quicksand. Yeah, basically, and he catches a limb. Good for him, but he doesn't. We'll see that in the next movie. But I don't know. He just kind of like falls through. Prior to that, I remembered. Again, the most interesting thing to me is Jamie, the fact that she wanders over to this before he falls through and disappears.
Yeah.
She walks over to this corpse of her uncle and takes his hand. I remember thinking, what's motivating this? Oh my God, she's. I hadn't heard Barney Cohen say the horror yet, but what she's doing is she's walking over to the corpse of her uncle, and she's taking his hand, and the horror is transferring from Michael
Well,
into Jamie. Now
is she doing like
Jamie,
the Scream 3 thing where Sydney's clasping onto Roman's hand at the end?
I wondered if there was some
Yeah.
kind of sympathy coming
Yeah.
from her, just like, I mean, a semblance of it, not like, oh, I wish it didn't have to go this way, but I don't want to let this
Well,
harden me. Like, I don't hate you. I'm
it's
afraid of you. And now that you're dead, I'm definitely not afraid of
it's
you.
her only living relative,
Yeah.
blood relative.
Yeah, so there's like a
Yeah.
connection, but also I wondered if there was something involuntary about it, if there was something about her that was kind of like under a thrall that was drawn to him because it's her
Yeah.
destiny to be the
Hyman.
next
Yeah.
shape. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. Without all the exposition at the end.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing this movie has on Hereditary is that like I mean I love the ending of Hereditary. I don't mind the exposition dump at the end,
Yeah.
but this one gets it done visually and in a way that I'm just kind of like I want to see this girl
Yeah.
go at it. I want to see her haunted and interviewed and videotaped, like
Yeah.
kind of
So
like the way we did
you're
with Rob Zombie's
so you're a
Michael.
fan of the twist ending.
Because I mean, this is the thing. It's not even a twist. I feel like there were breadcrumbs. It could have been done even leaned into even harder and arrived
Well,
at.
okay, let's say like a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, I dig
Yeah.
it. I still to this day dig it, and I'm actually that's one of the things we'll get into more about Halloween 5.
Yeah.
That if they had opted in that direction, I would have cheered them on and been like, yeah, treat her like the
Yeah.
next Michael
I
Myers.
think I that was another thing that when I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, like it was crazy at the
Yeah.
time, and I was like really into this, but it seemed like it was something that they pulled out of their hat, and there
Mm.
wasn't really any conscious thought of like where do we go from here? What's going to be the next step?
Yeah.
So it there's an aspect to it that feels very sensationalized, that it's like it's more about delivering that feeling to an audience, just like, oh my God, that's a crazy way to end the movie, without actually knowing where to go from there. So, like, in a way, like, I know that the director of Halloween 5 gets a lot of shit for fucking things up, but, I would put a lot of that onus on Halloween 4 as well, because it's
Mm.
just like you created the problem that now needs to be resolved. I'm sorry that people don't like the way that they went about it in the next movie, but like if they had been more purposeful with it at the end of 4, then maybe there would have been a direction to at least follow going in 5.
Is there a direction or a focal point that you would have preferred at the end of this movie?
No,
Okay.
not not necessarily, but it's one of those things that if this was the last Halloween movie, and clearly it
Hmm.
wasn't going to be, they
Right.
brought Michael back for a reason, so they can
Yeah.
continue making movies like this.
Hmm.
So it feels to me like they did this, and then they were kind of falling back onto those like same trappings of like, okay, we're gonna have a cliffhanger, and not that like Halloween as a franchise has done this. I mean, I like Halloween 3 notwithstanding, which is its own thing, but we've seen a lot of other movies, like namely the Friday the 13th and shit like that, that will do like have an ending that is more so just meant
Mm,
to surprise the audience rather than be like a through line into the next movie.
mhm,
So with this, if like they're like, okay, we're doing a thing, and this is not something that they really did back then, where
yeah,
we have this idea and we've already developed it into a sequel. We know where we're going next. That
yeah.
wasn't the case here. So I think that I would have preferred that they didn't go this route. They did something different if they didn't have a follow up to it. Or if this was just the ending altogether and they're just like, yeah, Halloween 4 is the last one and we're not making any more. We just wanted to come back and do this last thing and then show that evil has like the horror has transferred on to
Hmm.
Jamie or Corey Cunningham or whoever the fuck, it is.
Although I think I prefer the experience of sitting through Friday the 13th, the final chapter, because I mean, it basically kind of ends in the same way. I do have to
Mm,
say,
well, more ambiguously.
well, I mean, yeah,
It's got that
he,
ambiguity.
but I mean, they both kind of like take on the visage of the killer as a child, and these
Yeah,
are children who are now, again, question mark. It's more implicit that
yeah.
this is the point I was going to make is that even though I think overall, I think I appreciate the experience of Josie Doe's movie more than Dwight Little's. I have
Yeah.
to say, I think
Oh,
the end. I think
final
the end.
chapter is way better
Yeah,
for me than Halloween
yeah,
4.
but I think the end strikes a chord with me here that at the end of four, I'm always kind of shrugging and going, movies,
Yeah.
like the horror's gonna transfer from Jason to Tommy cause reasons.
Yeah.
you know, maybe it's because of his affinity for horror, maybe it's
Yeah.
because it's just looking for a vacant, unspoilt brain or soul or
Yeah.
something like that. And but even just from an elemental level, like it makes more sense why it might pass, into
Yeah.
Jamie. I mean, I'm not saying it makes all the sense in the world. This is not me championing as it like the greatest
Yeah.
ending of a movie ever, but it works for me. I'm just
Okay.
a lot of people are going, that's stupid, and I'm like, I don't know, I kind of like it.
Cool. Well, we should probably move along here.
Yeah.
So let's get to the cherry picker.
It's not like we kill people on purpose.
All right. Firstly, we need a cherry on top. And
Mm,
I think it's Jamie Lloyd,
I do
personally.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Especially because, we wanted more from her
100%.
in this. And I mean, like, if it was someone else, it would be Loomis, but I feel like this is not one
Hmm.
of Loomis's stronger outings.
No, there are, I
Yeah,
mean, he has his moments, he brings it, and I wouldn't be angry if you were saying Loomis, but
yeah,
I'm cool with either of them. Yeah, because Jamie Lloyd, again, like, introducing Danielle Harris doing her first movie, and for her to just be so endearing and so just, even when she's
yeah,
scared, I love that I can feel bad for her and also kind of chuckle at like, the little jerky faces she's making as she's looking paranoid back and shifting her eyes
yeah,
back and forth and everything. It's just like, yo, kid, just walk, find an adult you
yeah.
trust, like go to your
And
neighbors.
manipulating the shit out of Rachel to get ice cream.
That's you, but yes,
Double
sure.
scoops. All right. So last time, I was gonna say last
Yes.
week, but it was like 3 weeks ago. We asked you who deserves to die the most in Urban Legends Final Cut.
Oh, right.
I nominated Graham Manning. You nominated Sandra Petruzzi. Or is it Petruzzi?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Across Patreon, Instagram, YouTube, the final tally was 339 for Graham Manning versus 92 for Sandra Petruzzi.
Thanks for showing up, guys.
Yup. Fear Queer Horror Guru. Two. Neither. but no
Okay.
other, no other person
Short and sweet. I
put
like
in
it.
place. Amethyst Frost. Oh, Amethyst is here with us right now. Need to
Yay.
make this comment now before the movie exits my memory entirely. I didn't mind Lucky Scrunchy in this and can at least remember her and what she did. On the other hand, there were a ton of generic brunette guys who survived this movie, and I couldn't tell any of them apart. And Graham was the most extraneous of the six people just standing around at the end. So sorry, Joey Lawrence.
He's doing just fine. He's got his
Jazzy
own podcast.
Boo.
Jazzy
Jazzy,
Boo.
Jazzy Boo. From what I remember, neither one of them was horrible, but I guess Joey Lawrence because I don't know he wasn't as hot in this as he was on Blossom.
Well, I mean that hair. Oof.
I never saw Blossom. I
Oh,
remember the
look at.
hats,
I
the
don't know
hat
if
with
he'd
the
do. I don't know if he'd do it for you based on the guys that you've like reacted to in the past. But take a look at some old photos and tell me, because he was a pinup. He was built. He had beautiful, beautiful hair,
Who does it for
and
me, Edward?
I don't remember. But I did. I don't look at Joey Lawrence and think like, oh yeah, that's a guy that's
That's for
Zach's type.
Zach.
Can't think of an
Uh,
example because I can't be
well,
put on the
there's
spot.
a few Lawrences. There's
Matthew
Matthew,
and
which is
Andy, Andrew. Is it
which
Andy?
is the one that was in The Hot Chick.
That's Matthew.
Matthew, and he was
Hmm.
also the Mrs. Doubtfire
Hmm.
with Mara Wilson, Matilda.
Yeah, he first
Yeah.
started out playing Joey's little brother on "Give Me a Break," I think. Yeah.
Give me a break, give me a break.
No, not that one.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat.
There are two
But
theme songs for the sitcom "Give Me a Break," and that's neither one
I
of
have
them.
no idea what Give Me a Break is. Blue Box, Graham, total douche. Why Sandra? I just know Eddie picked her. Is this a face pushed into the birthday cake kind of situation because she played dead Eddie? Tisk tisk. Then why not pick Stan and Dirk? Don't blame poor Sandra for her Tammy Brown. Haha, I'm acting moment. If you don't know that reference, Zach, you can just read it as Chucky. Haha, I'm acting.
Apparently.
Welshman, I vote Zach.
Okay.
Wow.
Wait,
Fuck you.
like you deserve to
Like
die the
me? Yeah,
most?
I guess so. I'm on the chopping block now.
Okay. Unless he's voting
Vicky,
your choice, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
well, you need to word that better.
I
Vicky,
stand with Zach. Go on, sorry.
Vicky screams. My vote is for Graham. Because
Okay.
at least Sandra was memorable. I genuinely forgot this pointless piece of scenery existed. He brought never to the movie and didn't even give us a fun kill scene.
All right.
Grant Dempsey. Where's Grant tonight? I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Graham, because this is my chance to finally have some sort of revenge for all the times people have called me Graham instead of Grant.
Oh,
Adrian Phillips, delivered with a subtle, sarcastic affectation.
ooh,
What is it with Edward's penchant for giving women the axe? Do you hate women?
yes.
Shocking behavior. I expected better from you. Excuse the blatant sarcasm and fact that I actually agree with Eddie's pick. Now, for the bone throw, Sandurian, her performance stank.
Oh,
Hashtag not my Valentine. I choo choo choose you to die. Lily Light. Emphasis on the light. There are like 2 dozen characters vying for the screen, and when you've got John Notman, short for Not My Man, at the helm, at least you can fall into obscurity or literally out of frame and focus quite easily. I re listened to this app and remembered that Notman dissed Scream 2 and 3. He did on the commentary. For that, you're getting
mm,
traces of Carolina Reaper spice. Since Notman is off the table, the closest insert surrogate Hollywood ego moment, that odious Sandra was the next best bet. I'd argue that she'd actually require less takes than Ottman did for this
Hmm.
movie. It's a falling grade from me. Eddie will get him next time. Uh, oh,
That's sweet.
sorry, failing grade. I really took my spice pills for this comment. Really shunty behavior. Nearly as bad as Notman's disparaging remark against my movie, my sequel. You know what makes me sick? You know what makes me sick?
Oh,
You've got it
fun.
from here, Mrs. Loomis, Zach, Chucky, Lord knows.
Yeah.
Um, and Silent Saturn, Graham. Not only because his character absolutely deserved to die and didn't, but also because he's not sexy in the slightest when Joey Lawrence actually is. Or was it the time anyway? How
I
did
mean,
they manage that? All around waste.
he was kind of a douche, so I don't find that sexy.
Was the douche canoe.
Yeah.
You know what makes me sick?
The little douche canoes.
All right, so I gotta pick who's
Yeah.
the most deserving to die first in Halloween 4. There's a lot of options, but I
Yeah.
think the one that pisses me off the most is that Frankenstein kid.
Mm.
I think it's the blonde kid.
Yeah.
Um, the one who's not a girl and not black.
Yes.
Because there's three of them.
He's
So,
credited as boy, but the actor's name is Richie Kumba.
boy,
Yeah.
what is the black kid credited as?
That I don't know. I'd have to find a photo on IMDb and
Oh
see
my
if they're
gosh.
tagged in it. But I
Boy,
saw the
boy two.
Frankenstein. The
Yeah.
Frankenstein kid was tagged in a photo with Danielle Harris. We know he ain't Danielle Harris, but it's Richie Kumba playing boy. So there you go.
Well, death to him. Uh,
Okay.
so that's all I have to say.
Okay. My choice is going to be Brady. Um, because I think the first time I saw the movie, I thought the thing we were kind of conditioned to think, which is, well, at least he's bringing it. Like he was kind of a cad in the beginning, but at least he's like defending and like, fighting against things. He's not doing the coward thing and just like leaving. Basically giving him credit for not being a complete waste of space. But I really the fact that they cast him with, standing there with like little Tommy and Wade in his first establishing shot in the drugstore, and the fact that they all kind of like resemble very, very similar types made me think like they're stressing the anonymity, or maybe not the anonymity, but just like the dime a dozen quality about this guy, and the fact that there are two girls who are so gung ho about betraying one another to try and like keep him. I don't know why my eyes are watering all of a sudden, but they are. Anyway, I'm not crying, but I'm crying. Brady, it's horrible. He's the worst. But anyway, no, the fact that yeah, he's just not worth it. And I think we deserved like a more painful death. Like that actually would might have redeemed
He
him if
had a
we
pretty
got like a
painful
no, no,
death.
no. I want something. I don't want them to recycle like the thumb thing or anything like that. No, I want like rib cage splayed in front of like the two girls who are like reeling from it, going, "Oh my
You're gonna
God!" Like,
traumatize them?
I want him to be associated with trauma so they never have to think about him again. Like I want him to become
Well,
a suppressed memory
it
is what
is
I
the
want.
franchise about trauma,
Because
so
also he doesn't care about either of them. He's not thinking about anything except his pecker. So fuck that piece of shit. And I like that actor though. He was in the OG Buffy. And he played the
oh
basketball
right.
playing vampire who goes ha ha. And then
Yeah.
she says like, "No, you gotta. It's me, Buffy, and you don't have to do this." It's like, but now I'm a god because he's got all
Right.
them fake teeth in his mouth and
Yeah,
everything
I
like that.
remember. And he's like he like levitates up and then gets the basket and then just like floating
Yeah, yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah. Because he's got the
Yeah,
little
yeah,
pointy
yeah.
ears and everything like that.
And he
Like,
and Ben Affleck is like one of the basketball players on the other team, and
right,
he's
yeah.
just like,
But
here, take it. Yeah.
right, but this actor Sasha Jensen, he's pretty cool, but I don't like the character. The character needs to die a more horrible death. Let's
He
rack up the
needs to
gore.
die.
And again, because he doesn't care about them, and they obviously are both invested in something more than just kind of like tonight. So fuck him and kill
Yeah.
him. Kill him. And see, I don't hate women.
Amethyst is telling us that Frankenstein boy is named Kyle,
Oh,
apparently, and Brady has no last name either. So
there you go. Thanks,
it's
Amethyst.
interesting. Yeah.
I love when the name isn't what they're credited as and probably not what they appeared
Well,
as in the
it's
script.
probably from the novelization. Is
Oh,
there a novelization
maybe.
for Halloween 4?
There was a novelization for every slasher movie in the
Yeah.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, well, anyway, vote your heart, vote your conscience, and you can cast your vote on Patreon. So even if you are not supporting, head over there. The polls are open for free. But while you're there, consider throwing a little support our way. You can also vote on Instagram. So follow us at the Cherry Picker Pod. And you can also vote on YouTube. So if you are listening, head over to YouTube, subscribe to us there. And if you are watching us on YouTube, you can also listen to us. The RSS feed link is in the descriptions down below. Edward, where can they find you on social media?
Instagram, Letterboxd, and you can check my old YouTube channel out. Edward is Truth. If you type it in one word, traditional spelling, you should find me. Those are the only ones, though. I don't have any other platforms. So if somebody else is masquerading as me, report them. How
If
about you,
anyone else is
Zach?
masturbating as Edward, report them. You
No,
heard
they
me
can do
say.
that, but masquerading, no.
Masturbating.
Or massacring. No, I don't condone either of those. But masturbation is
You
healthy. Do that. What about you, Zach?
you can find me on my main YouTube channel at Zach Cherry, ZACK space CHERRY. Letterboxd and Instagram are retro bitch face, all one word. Twitter, Zach Cherry 8. We know what's going on next week, but we'll just say it. Um, the Tower Farm.
I'm never sensible if I can help it.
You
No, I
don't
can't
even
say
know
either of
you
those.
don't even know what podcast we're doing next week, but I do.
What?
Halloween 5.
You have to say it with your teeth out, like Halloween
Halloween
5.
5.
I love that kid. He followed me briefly on Instagram. I don't know if he still is. I think he just wanted to
Oh,
follow back because I think I tagged him in something and he was like,
yeah.
or I know I think I hashtagged Halloween 5 and he was just kind of like, I'll follow you. And it was like, oh, I should follow you.
Follow for follow to the
Yeah,
Tower Farm.
but I
I
don't think I
follow you.
did. Yeah,
Did he follow with his
Did
teeth
he
out?
follow me? Oh my God. People who are just listening are completely confused.
Completely confused. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will be right back.